Do you remember when $1 million was a lot?
I do.
I do. I will know. I remember it. Hey, it is 5:47. I'm Danny Bonaduce. This is KZOK. Good morning.
Good morning, and yes.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I am very well, thank you. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
How's Car Toys?
Car Toys was fantastic, actually. Yeah, we had quite a few listeners stop by, get some good deals.
You were talking about that thing, the deck that you're going to give away, an Alpine deck.
Yeah, Alpine Halo 9.
I remember thinking, what are they going to do with a cassette deck now? Because that's the only deck I've ever known for a car.
Right.
What the hell was it?
It was this really cool multimedia stereo deck. So you could play MP3s. It syncs up with your phone. It has navigation.
MP3's the devil.
It has navigation. Of course, it has radio, and it's touchscreen. So
radio good.
It's no longer a cassette deck. In fact, I'm not even sure it had a CD player because most of them now don't have a CD player.
No, they really do not. It's very, very odd. You pay a little more money, get something perfect, and you can't stick anything in it. If you can't stick anything in it, I don't really like it as much as I used to. So here's the thing on the $1 million being a lot. Because I'll give Amy this. She does play fair in my stupid little games. My stupid little games must be taken seriously. For example, if I said, would you shoot Paul in the head for $1 million? Well, you can't say yes to that.
No.
That's it. So you can't even fool around and say something like that. But then you'd say, hey, would you eat this spicy chicken wing for $1 million? You have to say, yes, it's a spicy chicken wing and you're going to be rich. So she plays within the parameters that I have set up. That if the game... And we have a bunch of different games. That the game has got to be real.
You might have that $1 million in your pocket.
You do this, or say this, or think this, or drink this.
Yeah.
You are now. It's $1 million. It's in your bank account, and you have a nicer car than you wouldn't do in all this appears. But you play like it's real. And I'm walking down. We decided to walk to the Sunday Fremont Market from our house, which is not that far. It's around 2 miles, but. On the way there, it's so steep down that you spend the whole thing holding yourself back from running forward into It's really a brutal walk. I don't like it at all, and I don't like the walk back, but we Uber back. So we walked the 2 miles to the Fremont Farmers Market or whatever it is. There's no farmers there, though.
The Sunday market?
Is that what it is? Sunday market? Yeah.
Is it on Sunday?
Nobody farms. Yeah, but lots of them are on Sunday and they're farmers markets.
Yeah.
This one's not a farmers market because there's no farm implements of any kind.
It's more like arts
cheese.
and crafts.
Yeah, and there's cheese and there's honey, but there's food trucks and there's stuff to buy.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, I enjoy it. So we decided we're going to walk from my house over the Fremont Bridge and down to the Doohickey about 2 miles later. We get to the middle of the Fremont Bridge, and I look down, and it's fairly far. I don't know how far, about 50 feet maybe to the water.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I say, hey, because that's how you start these things. Hey, would you jump for $1 million and ask me and I'll tell you how she answered.
Danny, would you jump or no?
No. That's how she answered. No, wait. You have to at least look over the side before you can decide that you're not jumping for $1 million, that we're not all retiring to Poobahville or wherever people with $1 million retire. So she goes, no, I'm not. I'm afraid of heights. I don't want to look over. And I said, okay, if you weren't afraid of heights, would you jump for $1 million? She said, no, you could get killed. Now, here's the thing. You could get killed walking on that bridge.
Sure, yeah.
Standing on that bridge.
Yeah.
I'll bet you more people have died on that bridge than have died of hemorrhages. I don't know why I think that, but I'm just going to say it. But so it really made me mad, A, that she didn't want to look over the side to play the game. But then when she looked over the side, the answer was no. For $1 million, I'd be over the side of that bridge in seconds flat.
You're alone.
I think. What, dear?
50 feet? You're alone.
Well, I'm guessing that height, but your attitude is probably right. I'm probably out on the limb. Well, it's not even a limb; it's a bridge. But you know what I'm saying. I may be wrong, but I think you'd survive it. I think you'd have $1 million and be okay and have jumped.
Yeah.
Now, by the way, I'd like to just say right now, don't try this at home or on a bridge or anywhere. I was going to say, don't listen to me. Wrong advice. And listen to me very, very carefully. But don't do any of the things that I say that you should do.
Right. You're not offering anyone $1 million.
No. If I had an extra $1 million, I'd jump and give it to myself because that makes perfect sense. So that's what we did going down to the Sunday market, which I greatly enjoyed. And then we Ubered back home. Today, at 1 o'clock this afternoon, going to see Mission Impossible 9 or whatever it is.
Beat you to it. I went on Saturday.
Tell me.
I don't want to tell you too much.
Well, Ethan Hunt jumps over stuff.
Over the bridge, yeah. Over the
Stunts,
bridge.
just like every other Mission Impossible, are insane.
Yeah.
The fight scenes are insane. It's so well done.
See, the fight scenes kind of bug me.
They
a little
shouldn't.
bit.
When you watch the movie, the bathroom will not bother you. Just remember those words. The bathroom will not bother you.
So weird.
Do they fight in a bathroom?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It's just fights don't last that long outside the ring with pads on your hands. Fights last 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Unless you're in Mission Impossible. You
Right.
have to suspend disbelief
That's
because
the thing.
you're also not scaling the side of Wiz
See,
Khalifa or
I
whatever
believe he can
did.
do that. I saw him do that in the last movie, and
Right.
I believe absolutely he's got those cool suction cuppy things.
Sure, yeah.
And he can climb Wiz Khalifa, which seems like an odd thing for him to do. But I believe and I can believe he can win fight. He knows wonderful, perfect. Here's the thing with karate and kung fu that is just factually true, and that is for 1,000 years, actually for 2,000 years, the people who practice it were approximately the same height and weight. 5'6", 125 pounds.
Yeah,
That's just what, and they could do all these things, and the other guy knew all the things, and you fought like that. Now, try getting Jackie Chan with a 6 foot, 5 foot American who means business. That fight kind of goes right out the window. But anyway, I suspend disbelief on
You
that
have
too.
to,
I interviewed Jackie Chan one day in Chicago 30 years ago, and you might have noticed he still doesn't speak English. Imagine it 30 years ago or whatever it was. But a fine young man. I enjoyed his company. I just thought somebody should give you a heads up. Oh yeah, your next guest doesn't speak English. Although I can top it with something you were there to see.
What's that?
Remember the mascot from the Philadelphia whatevers?
Oh, yeah.
Hoppy, hop along,
I
hop
think it was
along.
the 76ers.
Yeah, some guy thought he was doing us a big favor, brought in the mascot from the Philadelphia 76ers, a bunny rabbit. And you know what mascots all have in common?
They don't speak.
They don't speak, making it extraordinarily bad radio. If you have plus, he has a trainer that goes, but in like a coach's whistle.
Okay.
And that's supposed to be telling him stuff. So the only sound being made are super whammy annoying. And I will tell you this right now. If I want annoying noises on my show, I will make them.
Seattle fire officials reported yesterday that a 50-year-old man had been stabbed in Seattle's downtown. Where responders were called about 6 a.m., the intersection of 3rd and Seneca. The man had been stabbed in the chest. He has been transported to Harborview. No police reports yet on who the perpetrator was or, of course, what the motive would have
Wow.
been.
And that was yesterday morning?
That was yesterday. Yeah.
So 24 hours ago, somebody's in downtown Seattle, minding their own business. I'm just assuming for the purposes of this. But that's just crazy because this seems to be going around, the stabbings.
An elderly couple were stabbed several times Saturday night after a 40-year-old woman who had been living with them for the past few weeks became angry, stabbed them, and then tried to burn the house down. Now, according to police, there was a flammable liquid that had been poured throughout the house, but the flames never got going. And then police arrived and found a 76-year-old woman outside with stab wounds, husband inside, several stab wounds. They're both in critical condition. The 40-year-old suspect was arrested and booked into King County Jail. They took a large kitchen knife into evidence. And according to neighbors, they were not related. The woman was homeless and had started staying with them a few weeks ago.
Wow. You know, I've had chicks mad at me before.
Yeah.
But this seems excessive.
Yeah.
A flammable liquid and knives? Pick.
Well, and what did they do that set her off?
Right.
Yeah.
You bring somebody into your house like that, you're trying to help them out,
Yeah.
which, I mean,
Yeah.
very kind and very brave of them to do. 'Cause
Not
it's not something I would
necessarily.
do.
You know, when I have a vision of the homeless people in my neighborhood, I wish to help them. I wish to help them financially. I wish to help them with a tax that would house them someplace safe where there's food and things like that. But taking some guy again or girl that looks like my homeless guy on my corner couldn't be a bigger mistake. Like these guys in the tents out here and just go up there, you know, I feel really bad for you in that tent. Do you want to come move into my house? Sweet. You're
Right.
going right to heaven, but sooner than you thought.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is not something I would do.
Right.
More bad news in the news. Park rangers recovered the body of a 22-year-old woman who apparently drowned while trying to cross the West Fork of the White River in Mount Rainier National Park. A group of hikers reported seeing this woman get swept downstream as she tried to cross the river by the Northern Loop Trail. They tried to locate her, and finally, when they did so, it was 150 yards below where the trail crosses, and she had not survived.
Was she doing it was she swimming across it?
No, she was hiking and tried to cross a river.
Oh, okay. So just couldn't gauge how thick that was or how deep it was?
Yeah, they say a lot of people, if you're not really familiar with the area, you might not realize what you're stepping on.
Right.
I mean, it could be a log, and then you trip, and then it rolls over.
When
or
I
it's
see
deeper.
these four-wheel drive trucks around here, and they have something coming up by the passenger window and off the top of the roof.
Looks like a snorkel?
It's called a snorkel.
Okay.
That's what it's called. And that's so you can submerge your car
Right.
and keep it running. Super bad call. Don't ever submerge your car. Whatever you're thinking about doing that you think submerging my car is going to benefit this, it won't really. Bad call.
This looked like an area where you should be able to just walk across it, but experts say water's colder than you think. You don't know where it's going to get a little bit deeper.
It's moving faster than
Yep.
it looks like.
Exactly. Wildfires continue to devastate several areas in California, and the death toll has sadly risen as well. And now authorities in California have arrested 2 people on suspicion of looting homes that had been evacuated
Oh, jeez.
due to the explosive wildfire. A 25-year-old female and 19-year-old male, both of Redding, which is the town being devastated the most in Northern California, were perpetrating several burglaries. The Carr fire has prompted mandatory evacuations for tens of thousands of people, and it's destroyed more than 650 homes.
And the car fire is a place, right?
Yes,
That took me all
CARR.
night last
Yeah.
night watching the news about the car fire till I saw it come up and it was spelled with 2 R's.
Right.
By the way, if anybody in Redding had stuff worth looting, you would move out of Redding. There's no reason to live in Redding.
My parents drove down. They're in California now, and they drove down on Thursday, and they stopped in Redding for lunch at like a Denny's, and they said it was just packed, and there were tons of people, and they didn't know why.
No.
And so they called me that night, and they said, we just watched the news. Did you know that there was this huge fire? I'm like, yeah, you drove right through it. How did you not understand? They actually stopped for lunch in the middle of the fire.
When you said they drove down, where were they?
They were here in Washington State.
And
They
drove
lived with me
to?
and drove to Northern California, a little town called Gridley,
Yeah,
where I
okay,
grew up.
wow. Is that where you grew up? With
Yeah,
the Weed College?
Right, south of
around
that,
there?
but yeah.
So your parents had no idea and drove through a wildfire.
Drove through a raging wildfire, stopped for lunch, and wondered why there were so many people. Well, they're evacuees. That's why there's
Yeah.
so many people.
Oh, my goodness.
Seeing a giant fire will make you peckish. Yeah.
Are they far enough away, Paul? That
They are. They're fine. They're safe, and they're far enough away. But I don't know how they drove through it and didn't see. Because I've seen the images, and it's crazy
Yeah.
looking.
Well, let's hope that they. Two suspects wearing hooded sweatshirts opened fire at a crowd Saturday night in New Orleans, killing 3 and injuring 3 others. Police said those people are on the loose. They do believe this to be gang related. They believe there is an affiliate of the notorious 3NG gang from Central City. 7 people were wounded, various degrees of condition, some more critical than the others, and the gang unit is now investigating.
My goodness. You know, when I was a younger man, the Mardi Gras and all the things going on in New Orleans seemed like, oh my God, I totally have to do that. I'm going to get beads. I'm going to see boobies.
Yeah.
Now the wear and tear on your body and soul at going to Mardi Gras seems excessively rough to me. Now you're 35.
38.
Would you still go to Mardi Gras?
I wouldn't. Just the amount of vomit. I don't think I could handle it.
Cool. I just felt like I was getting old while we talked.
You know, when I went to New Orleans for the first time, I was in my early 20s, and I still didn't want to go for Mardi Gras. I went, I think, 2 weeks earlier, and it was mayhem.
Mayhem.
The last time I went was last year or maybe 2 years ago, and it was just a random weekend in October. It was mayhem.
Still mayhem.
You don't need to go during
For
Mardi
a
Gras.
random weekend, you just had nothing to do. You went to New Orleans?
I went a bunch of my East Coast friends, so we all just
East Side!
people from New York, some people from Atlanta, and we all just decided to meet in New Orleans, and it was a great
It
weekend.
must be so cool to have grown-up friends. Hey, let's get on planes from different parts of the world. We'll meet here around 9:30. You good? Bring some beads. Okay, bye.
One of the guys we used to work with, Sam, went on a bachelor party.
Sam the milkman?
No, Sam, who used to work in our promotions department.
Ah,
So about probably a year ago, he went to New Orleans for a bachelor party. And I said, whatever you do, just get off Bourbon Street. He came back like green in pallor because he was so hungover and said all they did was spend their entire time on Bourbon Street.
Yeah.
And there was puke everywhere.
Yeah.
And this is the news.
Well, the news is also bad. I thought we'd lighten it up a bit, but back to the bad news. Patricia Hill killed her husband. Why, you ask?
Why ask?
He bought porn.
Oh.
Patricia Hill.
That's okay. Nobody should pay for porn.
Oh, okay, I didn't see your point, but now I do.
Financial mismanagement is why she killed him, right?
69 years old. She's being charged with capital murder after her husband, 65-year-old Frank Hill, was found dead in their home.
Oh, cradle robber, then murderer.
Yeah.
She called 911, 3 in the afternoon. She said, I shot my husband. Police arrived. They found her standing in the front yard. The body of Frank was found on the floor inside a utility shed, 2 gunshot wounds. During an interview, Patricia said that she had arrived home, walked out to the utility shed, and he had purchased videos. And
In the utility shed?
well, that's where he was going to be watching.
Right, yeah, no. This guy's going the extra mile, if you ask me. You're 65 years old. Can't you lock a door somewhere? Do you have to go out in the same place you keep the lawnmower to watch your porn?
She said, get out of that shed.
He wanted to be near the weed whacker. That's what it was.
She was so angry, grabbed a .22 caliber pistol, went back to the shed where she shot him twice, and he did not survive. She called 911 and just admitted her crime.
You know, she's the thing that's going to really cost her, aside from the dead body of her husband, the thing super for real that's going to get her at trial is the second gunshot. Almost all pleas go out the window with a second gunshot. I was afraid. I was scared. He was coming at me. Whatever it is that you're going to say, I lost my mind and I shot him. I didn't mean to. And then I shot him again.
Yeah.
All stuff goes out the window. All plea agreements go out the
What's
window.
so crazy is she's not even trying to come up with any of those excuses. She seems to think that she's justified shooting her husband because he bought porn.
Well, as Paul said,
Nobody pays for porn.
nobody pays for porn. I don't even pay for porn. I don't understand anything.
Police arrested a California man who robbed a liquor store, but he said he had a good reason.
Because the liquor store bought porn. That's probably why, right?
Ty Fan, age 23, booked into Orange County Jail, suspected of armed robbery and other felony charges. When police arrived at the scene, he had a handgun on his person. He had $500, and he said, well, I had to pay back court fines for the last robbery I committed, so I robbed the liquor store to pay my court fines.
Yeah.
And they said, well, that's a good excuse. You want to be responsible and pay your court fines, but you can't do it this way.
Did anybody say to him our great expression about robbing Peter to pay Paul doesn't work out? This is not how you get it.
For decades, scholars have wanted to get a closer look at unpublished sections of the autobiography of Malcolm X.
Oh, I missed it. I was sure it was going to be Anne Frank.
Nope. The autobiography of Malcolm X had some cut chapters that experts believe might contain some of the most explosive thoughts. And these have now sold over the weekend for $7,000. This is one chapter titled The Negro, and we don't know yet what the contents are, but it was purchased.
I can guess.
Well, I can read you one clip. They said this is going to be on display at the New York Public Library Center for Black Culture, which is in Harlem. We are like western deserts, tumbleweed, rolling and tumbling whichever way the white wind blows. Now, they say that this is something that a lot of people had been hoping to get their hands on and is now going to be on public display.
You know, I would have thought more than 7 Gs. I thought 25 Gs easy. Well,
2 Iraqi Airways pilots have been suspended after an argument turned physical in the cockpit. This was a flight heading from Iran to Baghdad, 157 passengers.
how much do I not want to be on that flight? Where are you going? Well, here are the exits. They're out this way and this way. And by the way, we're flying from Iran to Baghdad.
157 passengers. These 2 pilots got into a heated argument over a food tray. So one of the pilots said, I'm hungry. And the other one said, you can't have a meal tray in here. You can have something to eat, but not on a tray. They got
Who's
into
this guy?
Yeah, why not on a tray?
a fist fight, right? Why not?
Well,
Not a clue.
he sounds like sometimes when people say things with enough velocity, I believe them.
Yeah.
So maybe there's rules about having a tray in the cockpit. Could be used as a weapon, couldn't be used as a shield. I don't know. But it sounds like they just wanted to fight.
And fight they did. The two got into an argument. Then they said that the plane landed, and that's when it turned physical. They said nobody was hurt, as in like the passengers, the plane, everything was landed the way it should. But these two would not stop fighting over a tray of
Well,
food.
my goodness gracious. And it's airplane food on top of that.
Very true.
You fight not to get it.
Something very strange has happened in Siberia. Roundworms that were very, very old have come back to life. These are 32,000-year-old roundworms.
Zombie roundworms?
Well, they say that some of this type of life that's frozen, say, in the Arctic for a bazillion years can come back to life.
They're trying to clone a mammoth right now, and I forget what country's doing it because we won't
This
allow
one.
it. What?
It's this one, Siberia. This is the same area.
Oh, right.
So this is all being done in the Kolyama River, close to the Pliocene Park, which is exactly where they're trying to recreate the extinct woolly mammoth.
Right. What's weird about that is these guys, they have hunters for the woolly mammoth to go find them and locate them. It's like they almost always find them.
Yeah.
I would have thought there were 3, not hundreds.
Right.
And they do it for their ivory. Their ivory would still sell on the ivory market. It's like, are you guys crazy? That's a dinosaur.
Well, they found, again, it's cold. This is permafrost. These are deposits from the Arctic, and they found these organisms, and they're like, let's see what happens when we, defrost them. So they did. I'm going to guess they didn't use a microwave, but they said after they defrosted them, the nematodes showed signs of life. They started moving and eating.
That's signs of life, all right, moving and eating.
Yeah. Well, you just wonder what else can they find?
That's good enough for me. That's all I do. I eat and I move.
Doesn't this seem like a sci-fi TV show, though?
It really does, yeah.
You defrost something, and the next thing you know, it's in your belly, and then it takes over like a human. I think this was John Carpenter's The Thing.
How did it get in my belly?
That's just what they do, and then they. Well,
I didn't eat it.
No.
That's crazy.
They get in there, and that's where it's like
They're going to infect people, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't think they run very fast.
they go.
Well, probably not. They're 32,000 years old. They'll break a hip.
They're worms. It's not like they got that many feet going on.
I'm pretty sure this was the plot of The Thing, the first one and the second one, and they're in the middle of nowhere where it's really super cold, and somehow it gets in their belly. Does it get out of their belly, or am I confusing that with Alien?
Alien. I think Alien is the one you're thinking about.
Well, it just seems fraught with peril, but they're very excited, and are now looking to see what else is down there for them to defrost.
Well, I don't really
love all
want
that
them
stuff.
to. The woolly mammoth's okay, but I don't really want them to bring too many 32,000-year-old things back to life. Seems scary.
It seems scary to me.
They're worms, you guys.
I know, but I don't want to know what else is down there.
Now, that is not the Explorer. I gave you an Explorer Merit badge, sir, and you have to wonder what's down there.
Have you ever been standing on a street corner and in the middle of the pouring rain, or it had been raining and there's a big puddle and somebody splashes you with their vehicle? Yeah. Well, there's video that shows a guy doing it intentionally throughout the city of Ottawa. He is now getting fired because he was doing this deliberately, repeatedly. He would see where a puddle is, see where people are, and instead of kind of going out a little bit to avoid it, he would pick up speed and go. Paul, you're smiling.
I am, yeah. I'm sorry.
So here's the thing. He got fired from a job. Did the job have anything to do with those puddles?
No, but it's a city worker who was intentionally splashing citizens.
Yeah, I'm afraid most boys have done that at some certain age.
Have you?
Sure, but you outgrow it.
Yeah, this isn't
Paul.
Adult. This is boy
I'm
behavior.
not saying I do it, but I'm taking a little bit of enjoyment. I mean, he's splashing Canadians. Come on, how upset can we be?
Because they're all dressed like Mounties, so they're not even getting their shirts wet.
A lot of people wondering what's up with Ruth Bader Ginsburg because
that's how I go to bed at night going, honey, what's up with Ruth Bader Ginsburg? Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of people who talk about Ruth Bader Ginsburg on a regular basis. She just had a documentary out about her. She is sassy.
Yeah.
And she does give a lot of interviews where she shows she's still sassy and still totally got it all going on. Well, over the weekend, some people were speculating, what's up, Ruth? You're 85 years old.
Yeah.
What do you think is next? And she said, well, John Paul Stevens stepping down at 90, so I've got 5 more years. So she says she's in for the long haul, that Trump will not get another seat while she is still breathing.
Well, good for her. I mean, I don't know if she can hold true to that. And 85 is 85, but she's almost a decade younger than my mother, who still makes poor decisions. But that's her job as my mother.
Well, she is very dedicated, and there are some people who want to make sure that the change doesn't happen with this current office. So if you were thinking about retiring when Trump went into office, those thoughts of retirement went out the window for several people.
And they must just sit there and hope he doesn't run again. Because I never thought, first of all, every normal person I thought he'll never take the presidency. That just can't happen in this country. And now we think, well, he couldn't win again. And all these things are possible.
It's time for today's Things Are Not Right in Florida. Story of the day.
Yay!
A man made a beer run into a Florida convenience store over the weekend, which probably happens hundreds of times on any given weekend. Only this guy had a live alligator with his mouth taped shut under his arm that he carried around the store with him. He walked up with his gator to the counter and said, "Y'all ain't out of beer, are you?" He then saw somebody in the back of the store and says, "Is he taking the last bit of beer? You aren't taking the last bit of beer, are you?" And then the man with the gator runs at the other man, laughing. He sees that there is more beer left. He grabs a 12-pack, pays for it, and leaves. Now it looks like Florida wildlife investigators are looking at the incident.
Gators. See what I did there? I don't see what this guy did wrong.
Taping the mouth shut of an alligator?
You have to. What, do you want to leave it open?
Right.
You're not probably supposed to have one at all.
It does seem like he's threatening people with his gator, though.
See, I got that he was laughing on the way up and getting the next beer. I see a guy taking his pet for a walk. I see discrimination.
Yeah?
If that was a French bulldog, everybody going, "Oh, boogity, boogity, you're so cute." But no, a poor guy and his gator.
Not sure what Florida law is if you can have an alligator as a pet, but somebody's investigating.
Florida law, I believe, is don't get caught doing that.
Yeah.
Oh, Florida.
Oh, Florida.
When we come back with music news, a cool story about Neil Young, an update to the future of Seattle music venue The Showbox. In entertainment, Carrie Fisher will be in the next Star Wars movie, and we will tell you how. And sports, a big signing for the Seahawks and all things Mariners next. Starting with music news, looks like lost professional live recordings of Neil Young, Joni Mitchell, and others can be released if they can secure a deal with the present owners. The Michigan History Project are the current keepers of 7-inch reel-to-reel tapes from 1968. This is from a big popular concert venue that was on University of Michigan's Canterbury House. Just the name of the music venue. So this was board recordings, not somebody in the audience with a recording device. 1968.
Oh, and not board recordings.
BOARD.
There's
so
all sorts of not to be bored.
They said this is all analog tapes, but that it's not a bootleg. This is first-rate soundboard captures made on professional equipment that have never seen the light of day. So this would be stuff from Neil Young, Joni Mitchell. They said there are other performers, and they just need to talk with the owners to make sure that they can release them.
Now, the owners of the tape are...
A bunch of random names. I have no idea who they are. If it's the people who... They weren't the people who recorded it, but maybe somebody gave it to them, passed it down. But the Michigan History Project are the people who have them, and they just have to get permission from whoever gave them those reels.
And they don't have to get permission from the artists or the record companies or...
Doesn't look like it.
Oh, wow.
Which is a bit strange. Because
I would think the reason they were never released was because they didn't have the legal authority to do so.
A thing called implied consent.
Yeah.
We deal with it every now and again. You deal with it when one of the things is you volunteer to take a breathalyzer or any kind of test for intoxication. When you get your driver's license, you've implied that you'll do that for him if asked.
Sure.
A lot of times it's something like this, when an artist goes up in front of a crowd with electronic equipment plugged in and recording equipment they are aware of, that's implied consent.
I'm also going to guess that when they went to make this performance, to do this performance, they said, we're going to record this from our soundboard. Is that cool? They're like, yep, that's cool. 1968. And they said this was in the possession of a private collector. That's all we know. But they said some other artists were Tim Buckley, Odetta, David Ackles, and that this is historically significant.
All right.
I'll keep you posted.
The age of it, too, might, once we pass 40 years, I think that some of that, frees up that you could then put it out publicly.
Oh, that's a good point. Because there is a statute of limitations, so to speak.
Yeah.
Bryce Dallas Howard is set to play Elton John's mother in the Paramount biopic Rocket Man. Now, the actor Taron Egerton is set to portray Elton John. Actor Jamie Bell will be Bernie Taupin. And they said this is the final piece of the puzzle. They are going to be making this biopic about Elton John with his consent.
Right.
So Bryce Dallas Howard is Ron Howard's daughter, also the star of the Jurassic Park movies.
And is there any chance I heard you say she's playing Elton John?
Elton John's mother.
Ah, okay. It makes way
more
better sense.
Taron Egerton is playing Elton John. Jamie Bell is Bernie Taupin. And as I said, this is with his consent. One of the partners in this movie is his husband, David Furnish. So this is all being done through their company, Elton John and his husband's company. And therefore, it would make you think this is going to be pretty great.
Yeah, it could be fantastic.
It's a pretty interesting life. The fight to save the Showbox in downtown Seattle is getting bigger. There's been a public outcry to save the building by designating it as a Seattle landmark. Now, this happened pretty quickly. We found out.
Did somebody actually do it? Because you can't just say, I want this is a landmark. You have to, petition and stuff, don't you?
They've started the process. The developer says they want to nominate the building as landmark status.
Okay.
Because that would accelerate the process, and it would, therefore, save it from the wrecking ball, sort of. What the belief is that this group, the developers, would likely save part of the Showbox, but not the entire building.
And not as a concert venue, they would save the look of it.
Yep.
Right.
Still
Remember,
put their condos
just
in.
on front and save the marquee and the sign, and then change the events as things. Well, that'd be fun. So and so is having a garage sale, although we don't really have garage. But you know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
You could put up pertinent signs on that. That's the first thing I thought was save that.
Well, most people want it saved. Period. They don't want it just to have a facade. They want it to continue to be a music venue. So we're not sure if the people, so to speak, were to get it designated as a landmark status. Oftentimes that restricts on what kind of building you can do.
It almost completely restricts the kind of building you can do. Certainly anything on the outside that can be seen by the public, depending on the kind of designation you get, because you could get the designation that you can't touch any part of it.
Well, activists believe the developers' move, if they are successful in putting through their plan, that only part of it will be preserved while everybody else wants it all to be reserved.
Well, if you go downtown to Pioneer Square and you take the tour that I took, the city underground and then the landmarks, nothing's the way it used to be. They call that progress. You don't want the thing. Now, this is a nice. I went and I saw. I think it was the Zombies. I saw some band I didn't care about, but because I'm a good husband. But my wife saw Weezer there with my son. It's a nice feel good thing. If you can save the signage, I think that's plenty. And go ahead and build your 40-story condos and make gazillions of dollars because that's the American way.
Carrie Fisher's legacy is living on through the Star Wars films. The cast for Star Wars episode, what's IX?
X9.
We're up to 9. Star Wars Episode 9 has been announced, and Carrie Fisher...
I can't believe I didn't lie to you.
22.
17.
Yeah.
She'll be reprising her role as Princess Leia in the final installment of the series. So over the weekend, they made the announcement official on the Star Wars website. They listed the names of the entire cast, that they said, we will not use a CG character, that we are going to be using previous footage, unseen footage that was shot for episode VII? Seven.
Yeah, very good.
Her daughter, Billie Lourd, will be featured alongside her famous mom. She will be returning in her role as Lieutenant Connix.
I didn't know that. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
Y'all don't listen to anything I say, do you?
No, not
What?
really.
Yeah, Billie Lourd was in the last one. She's been in a lot of decent-sized roles recently, including American Horror Story. But she was in this last Star Wars movie. She's returning for the next one. But a lot of fans super concerned about her being computer generated.
Oh my God, everybody needs a hobby.
They said that will not happen and that her family is supporting this move.
All right.
Some TV news.
They
6
should
months.
put Tupac in it. As long as they're digitizing folks, Tupac would rock in that role.
TV news. 6 months after the first season of Altered Carbon was released on Netflix, the sci-fi series has been renewed for an 8-episode second season.
Wow.
As expected, there will be some big changes. Anthony Mackie, who is one of the big actors from Captain America and the movie Detroit, has been cast as the lead Takashi Kovacs. Well, now people who are watching Altered Carbon who have seen previews for it know that that role has been played by Joel Kinnaman. He's that big, humongous dude who was in RoboCop.
All right.
You know who I'm talking about?
Nope.
Super handsome, gigantic, muscly man.
I've never even heard of the show either.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Seriously.
Yeah.
It's one of the best shows, biggest shows on Netflix.
Yeah.
So this dude played him the whole time. Only the whole premise of this is that humans only have their brains and it can be downloaded and put into various different bodies.
Oh, I'd love that.
So say, Danny, you're super sick
Yeah.
and you're like, this body's not working anymore. You can get put into Derek's body.
Yeah. I've been in Derek's body. It's great.
So the guy who's going to be doing this, you've seen in the Captain America Winter Soldier, Avengers Age of Ultron, Ant-Man, Captain America. This is a pretty big actor,
Yeah.
Anthony Mackie.
And literally large, right?
No, this dude's regular size. He plays Tony Stark's best friend. If you've seen those movies, then
I have.
you know who he is.
I've seen all those movies. I didn't know Tony Stark had any friends at all. He's a terrible person.
Other TV news, Better Call Saul. You guys familiar with that show?
Sure.
Yeah, we've heard
Okay,
that one.
that one's been renewed for a season 5.
Nice.
Fear the Walking Dead.
Yeah,
Y'all know that one?
we do.
That's been renewed for a season 5.
Nice.
Peter Dinklage, Game of Thrones.
Yeah, he's
Dead.
been
Y'all
dead
know
for
that
3
one?
seasons. Yeah. 3 seasons now he's been dead, right?
There are reports that Peter Dinklage is in talks to play Rumpelstiltskin. You know,
Yeah.
I didn't know-
Not in Game of Thrones, right? They're going to
No.
put him in something else.
I did not know the Rumpelstiltskin was tiny.
I don't believe he is tiny.
Well, he is now. Or else
Exactly.
they're going to make everyone else in the show tiny so that they all look to be the same
I
size.
don't think that is possible.
Maybe
my
they'll
friend.
just CGI everybody and Tupac and Princess Leia will be in there. Now,
Yep.
According-
That's what's going to happen.
according to experts, the original story of Rumpelstiltskin
There are
dates-
Rumpelstiltskin experts.
You sure? Are you kidding me?
Where was I on career day when they were offering the Rumpelstiltskin expert jobs?
Well, let me see here. They say that this story dates as far back as 4,000 years. It concerns a miller who lies to a king that his daughter can spin thread into gold.
Yeah.
An imp-like creature, Rumpelstiltskin, appears, and
They can do any of that stuff 4,000 years ago?
spin gold.
Yeah.
Spin thread, let alone
Spin
thread into
anything.
gold.
But I
yeah.
think they can. I think they wore robe. I'm thinking about the ancient Egyptians.
Yeah.
And they had robes and stuff. So somebody was spinning something. And not in those silly classes. Come on, we're all going to go uphill. Wrong kind of spinning.
Yep.
Paul, tell everybody about the Danny Bonaduce birthday bash.
Danny Bonaduce's birthday bash is going to be on Friday, August 10th at
That Danny
Chandler's.
Bonaduce's pretty awesome.
Yeah, he is. Chandler's Crab House on South Lake Union. Everybody's invited. We'll be there from 5:30 to 9:30. You can join for the whole thing or part of it. We're going to be broadcasting live. It's free to attend. free breakfast.
Yum.
All you have to do is RSVP at KZOK.com/Danny's birthday.
Thank you. It's
Cool.
going to be a good time. And I don't think you mentioned this, but there is no charge.
There's no charge. Yeah, free to attend.
This is
That's what I
totally
meant.
free.
That breakfast isn't even costing you anything.
No.
Nope, that's also free.
And neither is the entertainment. That's not going to cost anything.
Yeah.
You're still overpaying.
Let's take a look at sports. Sports brought to you by Bradley Johnson Attorneys. If you're facing a DUI, call 1-800-DUI-AWAY. That's 1-800-DUI-AWAY. On Friday, the Angels beat the Mariners 4-3. On Saturday, the Angels beat the Mariners 11-5. But yesterday, big win. Derek, how many runs did they score in the first inning?
The Bats were red hot. The M's scored 7 runs in the first inning.
Jeez.
Yeah. Just do that every time. I think it would be better off.
7. When I turned the game on, I thought I must have misunderstood the start time because I saw the score. And then
Oh,
I
right.
realized, oh no, that is a 1. It is the first inning. Crazy. Well, it was an 8-5 win over the Angels. And today the Mariners head back to Safeco Field playing the Houston Astros. First pitch, 7:10. Looks like Big Maple will be back.
Nice.
Before his last start, he got scratched, but it looks like his back is feeling better.
Yesterday was great because the Mariners won, Houston lost, and Oakland lost. So it was
Big.
very good for us. Very
Yep.
big day.
Garrett Cole will be the pitcher for Houston. And we did pick up a new face over the weekend, Sam Tuivelalala.
Oh, yeah.
La, la, la.
That's a lot of la.
That's a lot of laws.
He is a reliever, and we got him in exchange for a couple of minor league players. The trade was with St. Louis. Pitcher named Sean Newcomb was pitching yesterday for the Atlanta Braves. Bottom of the 9th inning, 2 outs, a no-hitter
It's a no-hitter.
until it wasn't. 2 outs in the 9th inning, and he blew his no-hitter. Now, they still wound up winning the game. He got a thunderous standing ovation.
Yeah.
Sure.
The manager went to hand him the ball, and he threw it into the dugout. He's like, I don't want this, because he didn't get
Because
enough.
he was upset, yeah.
I feel kind of bad, and I'm kind of laughing at the same time. In football news, the Seahawks agreed to a contract extension with one of their top players on Saturday.
Earl Thomas.
No.
Tebow.
Tebow!
Rick Jones.
Rick Jones.
Rick Jones, a 3-year contract extension with Dwayne Brown.
Dwayne Brown.
Yeah, that's totally different.
That's the 4-time Pro Bowl left tackle
Yeah.
for whom they traded last fall. This is a 3-year contract extension worth $36.5 million that will keep Brown with the team through 2021. It seems like the future.
That is the future.
Seems like a lot of money is what it seems like.
It's a lot of loot. Tomorrow, the Seattle Storm play the Phoenix Mercury, 7 o'clock. And yesterday, the Sounders won their 3rd straight, beating New York City FC 3-1. Over the weekend, Wayne Rooney scored his first MLS goal, his 4th match with DC United. Now, this is a soccer superstar. He's on the older side, but Wayne Rooney is a legendary soccer player. Finally scores a goal, and that was between the legs of his former Manchester United teammate Tim Howard. Then Wayne Rooney got into a massive collision that left a gory mess, blood streaming down his face into his eyes, broken nose.
Wow.
Wow.
Gruesome.
So soccer picked up.
It looked like a rugby match. Like he literally had blood streaming down his face.
Soccer
fun.
was exciting this weekend. I watched a match last night between L.A. and Orlando City, and there was 7 or 8 goals scored. Yeah,
It's a lot
soccer.
of goals, man.
My goodness. A 64-year-old Bulgarian man set a new world record for the longest distance swum with his feet bound and his hands tied behind his back. I don't know why this is a record.
No, and he's in some kind of sack, I
Yep.
believe. He's inside a sack.
Yes, I don't understand it. It took him 3 hours to swim 2.1 miles. The previous record was 1.2 inside a sack. So that record was easily
And what
broken.
country is this?
Bulgaria.
It's a silly little country.
Apparently, they put a lot of people in sacks there and throw them in the water. You got to learn
Apparently.
how to swim.
The last time they did it was India, but that was only 1.2 miles. So 64 years old. I'm kind of impressed his age that he could do it, but
Hey,
I don't
I'm 58,
understand
and I'm in such good shape I can say no to putting me in a sack and throwing me in the water.
Some sad news from the world of sports and entertainment. Pro wrestling endured a very tough day yesterday. 3 well-known figures from the sport lost their lives on the same day. The WWE announced yesterday Hall of Famer Nikolai Volkov, a former WWE, well, at the time WWF
right.
tag team champ, known for teaming up with the Iron Sheik. He died at age 70. Another WWE wrestler, Brian Lawler, also passed away. He had attempted to kill himself, placed on life support, and then did not survive.
I know him relatively well, and I know his dad very well, Jerry.
Yeah.
It clocked me in the face. One of the harder times I've ever been hit was by that guy's dad. But that whole family I have met at one point or another. They're very nice people, very well-spoken, soft-spoken. It just seems weird. So he was in jail for something, right?
Yeah, I don't know what he was in jail for, but that's where he attempted to kill himself. He was just 46 years
Yeah.
old. And then lastly, pro wrestler Brickhouse Brown also died at the age of just 57.
Boy, this might have something to do with wrestling. I'm not positive.
Yeah.
His case, cancer. The other dude, 70, that seems like a long time for a wrestler.
Then in that case, I stand by. If 70's a long time because your occupation, because 83 seems to be the standard now.
Yeah.
Right.
That I'm going to go with the chemicals you put in your body, the beats you take to the head.
Well, you have never done any of those things, so you'll be fine.
Okay, apparently she doesn't listen either.
Sports brought to you by Bradley Johnson Attorneys. If you're facing a DUI, call 1-800-DUI-OA. That's 1-800-DUI-OA.
Well, let's talk about 1-800-DUI, shall we? If you get a DUI in the state of Washington, you're screwed. Unless you call 1-800-DUI-AWAY. And I'm telling you, judges are fighting mad. Don't do it. But if you do and you get caught, you need to call 1-800-DUI-AWAY. They'll meet you in Seattle, Everett, or Tacoma free of charge. So if the unfortunate happens to you and you get a DUI, don't delay. Call 1-800-DUI-AWAY. That's 1-800-DUI-AWAY.
A lot of shows still to come, including at 7:20, a brand new game, and you can win a pair of tickets to see Styx August 23rd at Tulalip.
All right, here it comes. Let's go, let's go, let's go. It's 7:20 this morning, a few minutes from now, if you will. Brand new game. It's called Sticks or Stones, and you can win a pair of tickets to see Sticks. Dig that. So be here at 7:20.
Trader Joe's has a whole slew of delightful products, and the website Thrillist once a month comes out with the best stuff that Trader Joe's is selling. You know, and sometimes it's seasonal. They have a peppermint bark that comes out for Christmas, and it sells out in stores.
Bark?
Peppermint bark. It's chocolate that looks like bark from a
Type
tree.
of candy.
It sounds yummy.
It's delicious. So it's chocolate with peppermint sprinkled on it, and
Oh, just give it a bag. Little bag. Yeah, I've had it. It's great.
well, they've got all sorts of different products at Trader Joe's. It varies throughout the year. So they come out with this list, like, here are the best things to get at Trader Joe's this month. And I'm looking at the list this time around, and of course, they've got a whole lot of nut butter.
Yeah, they always
Yeah,
have
you
nut
got
butter.
a lot of nut butter.
They always have a lot of nut butter. And
Those guys never run out of nut butter at
Nope.
Trader
Well,
Joe's.
it's hard to manufacture, too.
one of the new ones is a cashew nut butter. And
Yeah.
every time I say it, you guys just laugh and giggle.
Yeah.
Nut butter.
Right.
Yeah, we laugh and giggle like little girls.
Is
And we do. No, I'm with you. Anytime I got one when I hear the word duty.
Yes.
I'm in hysterics every time. I was dealing with CBN, a business channel this morning.
Yeah.
And the guy was talking about Harley Davidsons and building with them somewhere else and this and that. So he said he has to pay his duty like 5 times. I'm in hysterics. This guy has to pay his duty. And then he says this, I swear to God. She says, well, is there any way around it? And he says, no. It's your duty to pay your duty. And then I fell apart.
I always feel bad because it's normally about like military personnel or a first responder, and they're talking about, you know, they did their duty, they had to do their duty. You're laughing at these very honorable people.
we're 12.
Yeah.
But every time the word duty makes us laugh.
Yeah.
There are a lot of non-dirty words, though, that do just make you giggle. I
Sure,
think duty and nut butter are probably the top two.
Yeah, I like those ones a lot.
Paul, what's a non-dirty word that makes you laugh?
The pianist plays the piano.
Yeah.
The pianist does. That always cracks me
Is
up.
there a chance they changed that because too many people were laughing?
That they changed it to pianist?
Pianist.
They did in the way that they changed Uranus to Uranus and then went, well, that's stupid. It's
And
dumb,
changed
it's
it
still
back.
dumb.
Oh,
Yeah, they changed it back.
Uranus. Are you
Yeah.
crazy?
They changed it back. It's still pianist.
Well, it still makes me laugh every time.
And Uranus was Uranus and then Uranus again.
Yeah, it was.
But that's a good one.
Organ grinder makes me kind of shriek. What do you mean?
You guys listening, what is a non-dirty word that makes you laugh? You need to share by calling 800-252-1025 or text your answer to 90627 now.
All right, this is the reason to call us right now. Is there a word, much like you have to pay your duty and your tariff, that makes you want to just giggle away like they're doing right now? Well,
Tinkle.
you can give us a call right now, 1-800-252-1025, or text to 90627.
Let's talk to Mike and Sultan.
Hey, Mike, what's up, buddy?
Good morning, Sarah. Good morning, Stinky Bonaduce.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm well, thank you for asking. What do you got for us?
Every time I pass this in the meat section of the grocery store, stuffed pork butt.
Yep, absolutely. You know, I didn't even think you had to add stuff.
No.
Pork butt makes
Pork
me
butt.
giggle like a child, but then you stuff it, and I'm laughing hard.
Yep, that's a great one. Who named that part? Because it's not really the butt, is it?
No,
That's
it's the
the
shoulder.
shoulder.
Yeah.
So did they do it just to make us laugh?
I don't know why they did it.
I don't know either.
Lenny in Tacoma, what's the non-dirty word that makes you laugh?
Hey, good morning, everybody.
Hey, Lenny.
Hey, before I go, I got to tell Sarah, I was up at Nia Bay last week, and I saw the sea otter about 4 times. I don't know if it's a male or female, but I honorarily named it Sarah.
Oh, that's
Aw,
adorable.
Thank you, Lenny. That's really good to hear.
Your otter named it Danny. I had to go for some kind of strategy. All right, what do you got, buddy?
Mine's phenomenon. Every time I hear that word, I got to do the phenomenon.
Yeah, I am completely with you. All right,
800-252-1025. What is the non-dirty word that makes you laugh?
everybody knows what charcuterie is, right?
Yeah.
Do you understand what makes me laugh about it?
No.
See, I'm afraid this one's just me. It
I
contain-
just got it.
What?
I don't know that we can say that.
It contains the word cooter in it, which makes me laugh. You can say it, and I'll tell you why you can say it, because it's a character from those Duke boys.
Oh, Duke's Standards, yeah.
They got
There
the
you
more
go.
standards than we do.
That's
Makes
what
me
you're
laugh
talking about.
every time I hear it.
Jaden in Seattle, what's the non-dirty word that makes you laugh?
Hey guys, how are you doing?
We're doing well, thanks. What do you got?
All right, so this is probably a pretty usual one for most people. Anytime that someone has to use do twice consecutively in a sentence and it comes out doo-doo,
Yeah, no, we know.
I can't.
We know.
Every time.
There's the beginning of the Sarah's Beavers song that goes, do you remember how it starts? I know it starts doo-doo because I sing it.
Yeah.
But it starts with a
doo-doo.
doo-doo every time, and it makes us laugh. Why? Because we're 12 years old.
800-252-1025. We are talking about nut butter from Trader Joe's, begging then the question, the non-dirty word that makes you laugh. Let's hear from Rob in Louisville.
Hey, Rob.
Good morning. Well, I think someone that names their kid Dick is some pretty funny stuff.
You know what? I got to tell you, I am shocked that name still exists.
Me too.
You know, because kids take quite the beating at school as it is. You know, you don't need to call your kid Richard or any derivative thereof. He's going to get in fights anyway, and he's going to come home and in social internet the web. I think it's a mistake.
What about you, Sheridan Linwood? What's the non-dirty word that makes you laugh?
The flowers in my garden called peonies.
What are they called?
Peonies.
Yep, I heard
Peonies.
it. Yeah.
Yep.
And I mean, that will not help water them, I don't think.
Nope, peonies and pansies she's got in her
Well, I'll
garden.
fight the pansies right now, but I don't know about the peonies.
Don't be a nincompoop.
Oh, I thought the first syllable, not the last syllable.
No, nincompoop. That's a real word.
That is a very real word.
B, calling from Port Orchard. What's the non-dirty word that makes you laugh?
Good morning, guys. I recently bought a house, and I'm a homeowner now.
It's a bit of a stretch, B.
I had never thought of that
No,
like that.
and let me ask you this then, B. What kind of milk do you drink?
It's the one with the red cap, homogenized. I can't help
So you
myself.
drink the homo milk while being a homeowner. My goodness gracious. What are you up to, young lady?
Nick in Port Orchard texted in to 90627. He laughs every time he hears the word stroganoff, as in beef stroganoff.
Yeah, sure.
That's funny.
Yeah. Oh, someone was stationed in Africa, in Djibouti, and every time Dennis and Kirkland called his wife and said how things were going there in Djibouti, she started laughing at him.
That's always a good one.
Djibouti, that's a great one.
Then how about, and this one I learned from you guys, I guess, all at the same time. Regina. We're going to Regina.
Oh, yeah.
That one still makes me laugh.
It's our favorite place in Canada. Tyler in Lake Stevens, the non-dirty word that makes you laugh is what?
Poutine.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know what? The first couple of times I thought it was a gag, and they were just trying to get me to say it.
Right.
And it was like some kind of dare. Bet we can get Bonaduce to say poutine. And then you couldn't. I wouldn't. I'd point.
You can have some poutine with your Wiener Schnitzel.
Yeah.
Sure.
Most certainly can.
That one makes me laugh every time. Haley in Gig Harbor, the non-dirty word that makes you laugh,
Cockle.
Yeah.
as in like
Warming
clams?
the cockles of your heart, right?
Yeah, right.
It's actually a shell that you can find and eat like an oyster or like a clam.
Yeah. I've had them.
cockles.
I had some kind of bivalve day on vacation one day, and I had like 3 different kinds of bivalves, and they're all very, very yummy. But cockle,
Whelks and
I'm with you.
cockles.
Yeah, I had the whelks.
Let's talk to Dave in Federal Way.
Hey, Dave.
Half a day from Guam, guys.
What's up?
Good morning. Hey, it's every time my friends say it, they say, half a day from Guam, guys.
Well, it's nice to have that back, Dave.
It made me laugh.
Cannon Lake Taps, what is a non-dirty word that makes you laugh?
Fixed orifice tube.
What the hell are you saying?
It is an automotive part that goes in your AC system. It basically picks up all of the chunks of metal inside.
And
of
what's
your
it
AC
called?
Fixed orifice tube.
Yes, that seems very weird. Everything about that seems weird.
Tube.
First, I didn't even know my orifice was broken and had to be
Yeah.
fixed.
If it was broken, you'd use caulk.
Absolutely. I'd put some. I'm
Yeah.
not even going.
Ron and Kirkland pointed out on our text line at 90627 that there's a part of your toilet called the ball cock.
Yeah, there is.
Really?
It's true, yeah. I've purchased one of those before.
I purchased one of those.
What do you think, Gene and Puyallup, a non-dirty word that makes you laugh?
Gooey duck.
You know why Gooey Duck is so good? Because to hear or say the name makes you laugh, but only about half as hard as when you look at one
Yep.
and then laugh.
You can't hear the word and not visually
No.
get at the image of what the gooey duck is.
Do you know what a dongle is? You guys familiar with the phrase dongle, the word dongle? So it's like a electronics adapter. So when you plug in your Fitbit to charge, you plug that into your Fitbit dongle. You
That's a funny word.
connect your iPhone to your computer with a dongle. That one always cracks
I had
me
no
up.
idea. It's so many dongles.
Yeah.
Does the word mothballs make you guys laugh?
Well, I feel like I should be a supportive partner. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mothballs.
Well, they must be so small.
Every time
Because if they were any bigger, how would those things fly?
Carl in Seattle says cockatoo. Yeah,
Yep.
that's a funny one.
Because you only need one anyway.
Steve in Mount Vernon, the non-dirty word that makes you laugh?
Well, all my stamp collecting friends are philatelists, so they partake in philately.
I'm not familiar with that one.
Yeah, because I thought
Stamp collectors?
numismatist. No, what is that?
What is a philatel?
Phrenologist is rubs your head.
Right.
What's a philatel?
A philatelist is a stamp collector. Numismatist is a coin collector.
corn collector,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
I did
yeah.
not think
Thank
a
you for setting me
philatel
straight on that.
was the stamp guy.
I thought it was a sandwich made with pita bread.
That's falafel.
Oh, totally different thing.
How about hand-tossed pizza? Somebody on the text line laughs at their hand-tossed
I am
pizza.
12 years
Now,
old.
see, that's the one. Like, I see why you're laughing, yet I'm not laughing.
The
Because
ball-
if I imagine what I need to imagine to laugh at the hand tossed pizza, that's how I get my pizza. I'm not ordering that.
Get in your toolbox and grab a ball peen hammer.
Yep.
And a kumquat tree. Everybody thinks the kumquat tree is funny.
Always a good time.
Tori, what's a non-dirty word that makes you laugh?
It's a tie between platypus and weenus.
Wow. Which one? Okay, what's the first one?
Platypus.
Okay, which is the animal.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
it's much a family of the duck-billed platypus. What's the second one?
Weenus.
Yeah, I'm out. What's a weenus?
Your elbow skin.
That's my weenus?
That's your
yeah.
weenus.
That's weird because
That's your weenus.
my weenus is almost impervious to pain. You
Yeah?
can pull on my weenus. You can scratch my weenus.
Nobody wants to do that, Danny.
But there's a line.
Derek, a non-dirty word that makes you laugh?
Sassafras.
He's right.
Yeah,
I didn't
sassafras
know.
is good. Right.
Do you have to say it like that?
Sassafras. Yes, you do.
Wait, what is the commandment? There's a commandment that always makes me laugh, and that is you can't, because everybody gets it wrong. Thinks you can't covet your neighbor's wife. You can covet her all day if you want to, but you can't covet your neighbor's ass. Now,
That's right.
now does that, the fact that that's a whole sentence, does it count? Because if so, it makes me
I
laugh.
think so. Thanks for all your calls and texts. It is now time to play the new game that is sweeping the nation, Sticks or Stones.
Sticks or stones?
You can win tickets to Sticks on 102.5 KZOK. We are playing Sticks or Stones for your chance to win a pair of tickets to see the band Sticks, August 23rd, to Lalip Resort Casino Amphitheater. It works like this. In order to win, you'll have to identify if Danny is giving you a piece of rock and roll trivia about the band Sticks or the Stones. Get it? Sticks or Stones?
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Our contestant is Brianna in Seattle.
Hi, Brianna. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Very well. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
I do.
Do you understand the rules of the game?
I do.
Then here we go. Throughout the years, both bands have been marred by infighting. After all, there are some big egos involved, and you can't always get what you want. But no matter how rocky things got, this band's Glimmer Twins always stuck together. Can you tell us, is it Sticks or Stones?
Would it be Stones?
It would indeed. Correct,
Rolling Stones.
Brianna.
I didn't get it. I got it wrong. Oh, my God. Now that I reread it, how'd I miss it? Thank God you got it.
My dad's sitting next to me. He listens to you guys religiously. He
All right.
knows I win. He's the one that told me.
Well, cool.
Oh,
Well, thank
funny.
you for playing.
Congratulations to Brianna and her dad. You won a pair of tickets to see Sticks August 23rd at the Tulalip Resort Casino Amphitheater. You'll pick up those tickets at the Jeep Winners window in our lobby. You can get all the details and buy tickets at TulalipResortCasino.com. Tomorrow, we'll give you another chance to win at 7:20, and the big news of the day is next.
And it is, in fact, the big news of the day. And as always, and gratefully, brought to you by Goldberg Jones. Divorce for men, call 1-800-DIVORCE. Or you could go online to goldbergjones.com. And I would like to point out at this juncture, Your Honor, that Rick Jones will be in studio this coming Wednesday. So be here for that.
Over the weekend, an official Twitter release came out saying this is an official statement from President Trump. This was the official Twitter account for the White House. And it said, if economic growth continues at this pace, the United States economy will double in size. It continues, but they misspelled United States.
Yeah, I heard you say it, and I went, I was about to correct you and say, did you mean that? Oh, I'll bet this is what it actually read.
United States.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Well, that's how you make the statement not be incorrect. Is you just put what you make up a country, and then you can go, oh yeah,
that'll be.
It's not that my figures were off. That's just not a real country.
Although think about what you've sent out over either Twitter or Facebook, and that you didn't mean, or that you totally mean, you just didn't mean to send it to your mom or
Right.
something like that. So this guy does so much wrong in my estimation. I don't have to search for things like him going to the United States. That's nothing. It's saying we're going to invade China. That scares me.
But you think if you can't spend enough time double checking your tweets, what else aren't you double checking? What else are you just casually sending out? I mean, you're supposed to look and read and make sure there aren't typos.
Right, but you're also supposed to look and make sure your lawyer isn't recording you. You're also supposed to look and make sure you're paying porn stars $130,000 and no one's going to know. Yet everyone knows in the United States of porn.
Right.
Do you love pizza?
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody does.
Well, the job of your dreams has now arrived.
Porn star?
Pizza Hut.
Oh.
You need to eat their menu items, rate them, submit photos, and talk about how you liked them. You get $165 to spend on pizza, and then all you have to do is eat it and talk about it.
Yeah, okay. By the way, Pizza Hut now putting out the stuffed crust again.
Oh, yeah?
But they're using it. Used to be a stuffed crust, so it looked like a normal pizza, and there was just cheese inside
Yeah.
the ends.
Yeah.
This one, remember when they used to stuff it with wieners?
Yeah.
Little tiny wieners all the way around?
Right.
Well, they removed the wieners and put in cheese, and you can just break them off and chug them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Pizza Hut at it again.
Now I want pizza for
Yeah.
breakfast. I was about to be mad at you, Danny, but I realize I'm the one who brought this up in the first
By
place.
the way, breakfast pizza, one of the yummiest things in the whole wide world.
Agree.
Yeah.
I just don't have any.
Oh, it's sad, man.
I can't remember why we were talking about this. Oh, I know. There was a pawn shop in Kent, I believe, that burnt.
It's on fire. Well, the building
Yeah,
next
right.
door was on fire, and I wondered about all the junk in the pawn shop.
Yes, and you were saying in pawn shops you tend to have a lot of music equipment.
Yeah, almost always lining the front door, guitars and bass.
Yep. Well, in Massachusetts, a pawn shop bought a violin for $50.
Uh-oh.
Somebody brings it in, like, oh, I gotta sell this. Well, it turns out it's worth about 5,000 times what they paid for it. It turns out this is a Fernando Gagliano violin.
Not a Gagliano.
Yes. Handcrafted in 1759.
Wow.
Worth $250,000.
Gagliano with a spoon. Not sure.
The store's manager says the bows alone are worth $18,000.
My goodness gracious. What year did you say this was made?
1759.
That's crazy. You know, they did, by the way, with a Stradivarius that was worth millions of dollars. And everybody talked about the tones and everything. Then they played it and recorded it with the recording equipment, and the recording equipment couldn't tell what was what. And then they got a bunch of fiddle players and said, hey, which one's the Stradivarius? Which one's the $2 million Stradivarius? And nobody could tell at all. But I kind of like the idea of the $2 million, instead of an $89 violin that you can get at the store.
Well, it turns out this violin worth $250,000. The store's manager did a little bit of digging. They said the person who sold it had no criminal record. They did everything they were supposed to do, but the violin was stolen, and the pawn shop owner has returned it to its rightful owner.
Oh, wow, that's great.
It's a bit of a surprise, I thought.
You ever watch that show, Pawn Stars?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I like that guy, Rick, because I believe him, too. I don't think he's acting because nobody on that show can act. But he'll get something like a Fabergé egg, and the lady will bring it in. She'll say, well, I don't even know what it is. It's, it was on my mom's mantelpiece for years and years and years. I'd like to get $1,000 for it. And he goes, okay. Boy, are you lucky you came to me. This is worth $100,000.
Yeah.
He always says, I don't know if that's the way you keep a pawn license.
I think that's the way you keep a TV show.
It's certainly the way to keep a TV show.
You guys remember earlier this year, Weezer finally gave in to a long-standing internet campaign asking them to cover Toto's 1983 hit Africa.
By this one little girl, right?
It was a teenage girl who really started this going, and at first they did Rosanna.
Right.
And they're like, okay, that's funny.
To be funny, right? And did a great job to be funny.
But, here it is. This is Weezer covering Africa.
And it sounds great.
Sounds so good.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like there is now a bit of a campaign in the other direction. A bunch of fans said, why doesn't Toto cover a Weezer song?
This one. Do it and do it. That's my favorite one.
They gave an interview and said, yep, we're going to do it. They gave an interview to a bunch of radio guys and said, yes, we think it's a great idea. We're going to cover Hash Pipe.
Oh, of course.
Which I'm not sure why they chose this song because
Is this
Weezer
it?
has a dozen great songs. This is it, yeah. Whoa.
Woo.
I mean, this
Yeah.
was a big hit. I just would have thought perhaps Toto would have done something else.
Yeah.
But they're going to do it.
I
We
guess
don't have a
I guess
release
it's all
date yet.
cool, but the Toto version, the Weezer version, in the response to the fan and putting out the fake song for it. All great. Now you're going to meddle with it till it becomes silly, I think.
Well, Weezer says they love the idea. And I guess we'll have to wait and see what it sounds like before we really judge.
Yeah, plus, I think that Weezer's a little more busy than they were 3 days ago whenever this song came out. I mean, my family saw them at the Showbox, and my friends have seen them at the LA Forum, which is 17,000 seats, so it's kind of a declining scale, but it sounds like they're back on top again.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure they love this, love the attention, they love us talking about it.
On to baseball.
Sure.
A fan at the Cubs Diamondbacks game could have been seriously injured if not for the plastic bucket they were wearing on their head.
Well, this is a good message to send the kids.
A 19-year-old man sitting in the center field bleachers hit on the head by a foot-long metal tile.
Oh.
Metal tile.
So it wasn't even a baseball. It wasn't a line drive.
No. So he's sitting out in the outfield. A big hunk of metal fell from the manually operated scoreboard. Had he not been wearing a plastic bucket on his head, he would have been really hurt.
Why was he wearing a plastic bucket on his head?
We have no idea. Perhaps imitating his favorite prog rock guitarist. Perhaps in case he had to winky later. We don't know. He was wearing a
because he's an
bucket
idiot
on his head.
But I mean, I call him an idiot, except
it saved his
life. Yeah.
And more than one person had been saved by wearing a cheese head. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe this guy knew something was up.
He did need 5 staples to close a cut on his head, and the doctor said, had you not been wearing that stupid bucket,
I'd respect you more.
It would have been a lot worse. You see a lot of unusual things at sporting events. People with their faces painted, or there are people who bring a musical instrument, like they'll bang a little tin drum or something. I don't think I've ever seen a bucket head.
No, just that guy, of course, with, what is it, Guns N' Roses? Yeah. That. Weirdest thing I've ever seen at a ballpark would be pad Thai food. It just seems so weird. You go and you get a hot dog, and it's the best and the yummiest.
That's the big news of the day, brought to you by Goldberg Jones Divorce for Men, 1-800-DIVORCE, or online, goldbergjones.com.
Go nowhere, my friends, because coming right up, it's business news with Jim the Flag.
And now, business news from Jim the Flagger.
Netflix shares have been on fire this year, up over 107%, and traders are betting that the rally will continue. Because apparently, if you're an entertainment company, having names like Shonda Rhimes, Ryan Murphy, Chris Rock, and Jerry Seinfeld on payroll kind of makes a lot of sense. Hey Hulu, if you want my advice on how to kick things up a notch, why don't you try bringing David Letterman out of retirement? Oh, wait. Apparently Netflix already beat you to that one, too.
Wow. A little note down in your calendar if you want to that KZOK is throwing a party and you are invited and you don't have to spend any money because it's free, and then you can have breakfast and that's free too. So dig that. All you have to do is RSVP right now at kzok.com/Danny's birthday that you are coming out for the live broadcast of the show, which is kind of neat and exciting. It's all going to be at Chandler's Crab House, South Lake Union. Please come out. Love to see you there.
It's such a cool thing because it's completely free.
Yeah.
Like you said, breakfast, coffee, entertainment.
Yeah.
And no birthday gifts are required.
No, that is very, very true. And, if you do want to spend some money, I will dance in my underwear. And you and Derek can put dollars in my underwear. It'll be
we'll
very
definitely do that.
You're talking to Paul, right?
Right, yeah.
Everybody in large.
It's right around the corner, too. August 10th is the date. Friday, August 10th. So go and RSVP right now. KZOK.com/Danny's birthday.
Well, we were talking about a guy who has a topiary in his front yard, has had it there for a really long time.
For the longest time, I thought that was a sign of success. If you had a topiary, if you had a bush that looked like a Rottweiler or some such thing, that you'd made it.
Yeah.
And now you don't believe that?
Well, I don't believe it's the entire, I also think you have to have a Lamborghini and a 20,000 square foot. I was younger, but I still dig topiaries.
Gotcha. Because it does seem prestigious to me to have a topiary. But this guy is a topiary artist, and he Groom sounds like a weird word, but he's in charge of the topiary. And it's something he made. It's a hot chick. And the problem he's been having is it's a hot chick like leaning back and her legs are kind of folded up in a seductive way. And he says people keep trying to have adult relations with his topiary.
It's a bush, right?
Mm-hmm.
There does not seem to be a very comfortable way to have your way with a topiary.
He said men and women are liking the bush, the topiary.
And that wasn't his intent? I mean, he's now saying that wasn't his intent, but
Right.
it seems like it kind of was.
No, he says it's for his personal enjoyment.
Oh, okay. So he wanted that to happen, just not other people to do it.
Yeah.
Oh, he's saying he wanted to have sex with a bush?
No, but he's like, it's my hot chick.
Right.
This is my
Because
private lady.
there's a really nice topiary in Fremont, right on the right on the trails next to the Fremont River or whatever river that is. And it's two different dinosaurs, and they're huge.
And are they in someone's yard?
No, they're just along the walkway. And then all of a sudden
nice.
you're looking. I passed them 100 times before I actually looked, and oh my God, those are dinosaurs, and they're really cool.
So you could have a topiary in your front yard. You just have to decide what you would want it to be made of.
Can't have anything in my front yard because there's nothing there. But maybe in my backyard I could afford a bush that looks like a lollipop or something like that.
A lollipop, okay.
Yeah.
I've seen those.
The round
Yep.
ball one?
So you don't have a huge yard. Do you have anything unusual in your yard or around your neighborhood?
Actually, right next to where we grew, and there's plenty around my neighborhood. But I'll start with this. My mother-in-law bought me this, and it seems so weird because, the Partridge Family might come up in the world. I can't stop that from happening. But for anybody to buy me a themed present, especially somebody I know really well, it seems odd. But in my garden where I grew tomatoes, there's a rock with a drawing of what looks like the Partridge Family. It turns out it's not. It's just a family of partridges walking in a line like we used to do. But
cute.
I have a Partridge Family rock in my garden, and people, when they see it and realize, they go, "Dude, the partridge!" And that's so cool. And, I did not mean for that to happen.
Well, you guys listening, do you have something unusual in your yard or maybe in your neighborhood? This guy has a topiary of a hot chick, and Danny's got the Partridge Family in his front yard. What do you have? Call us now, 800-252-1025, or text in 90627.
Some guy took, I don't know, a saw or whatever kind of tool that you need to carve bushes and made himself a hot chick, and now weird stuff is happening. Do you, and this is the question to you out there, boys and girls, do you have something unusual in your yard or in your neighborhood? Here's the phone number, 1-800-252-1025, or text 90627.
I like the idea of having a topiary in the front yard. I think it's neat. I just don't know that I would approve of, or I wonder how his neighbors feel about the hot chick.
No, I wouldn't like it.
No.
I mean, if it's making men and even apparently some women do things that are vile to one's nature, then no, he shouldn't have it. Certainly in a neighborhood with people.
Yeah.
Does he live like right down the street from a whole bunch of bars? Because these can't be sober people, right?
That's very true.
800-252-1025. Do you have something unusual in your yard or in your neighborhood? I have a 46-foot tall head in my front yard.
You don't have a front yard.
I live directly across from the sculpture park.
Right.
And there is a 46-foot tall white head.
Yeah.
It's huge. Right in my front yard.
And I always wondered when they were going to do something with it. Like I always thought, well, that's not done. Yeah. When are you going to do something with that?
It's a very strange sculpture. And oddly enough, I was in, I believe, Barcelona and saw another one that this dude is a Spanish sculptor.
Well, then on Mercer, you see those two people. They're made of like a white metal, and they're carved out of letters and numbers and things like that.
Yep.
They have the exact same thing in Antibes. I don't know exactly what that is, but my wife tells me that.
Where the heck is Antibes?
Isn't that south of France?
Oh, okay.
Like in Nice,
All right.
somewhere around there. But anyway, I have seen those things. So it's like, this works in Chicago. Let's put it here. Like the giant shuttlecock also makes me laugh. The giant shuttlecock, that's all over America. I've seen personally 3 of them.
Oh, wow.
A lot of shuttlecocks.
Do you have something unusual in your yard or your neighborhood? That's the question we're asking at 800-252-1025 or text 90627.
We've got a couple of texts into 90627. Patrick in Hadlock says, I have a metal sculpture that looks like a motorcycle that I welded myself out of scrap metal from the dump.
Neat.
It looks pretty cool, and my wife actually loves it.
That sounds super cool.
Thank God you beat me to it because I'm going to go bet your wife hates it. Wife already likes it. Very cool.
That's exactly what I would think, yeah. This person texted in and said, my hillbilly neighbors have a Confederate flag and a planter made from an old toilet.
Okay.
Oh, my gosh,
Here's
Becky.
the thing. Now, I am not recommending that anybody go over there in the middle of the night and steal that flag.
But
That'd be a terrible thing to do. No buts. You can steal with your butt. I don't care what you do.
Or
But
put that flag in the toilet.
But that's, because I didn't get it at first. I thought, I don't know what all the fuss is about. But now that it's been brought to my attention, it's that you get like, oh, this would hurt somebody else. Not what it means to you. It doesn't have to mean the world to you. But why hurt anybody with your silly flag hanging up?
Yeah.
let's talk to James in Bothell, asking if you've got something unusual in your yard or unusual in your neighborhood.
Good morning, all.
Morning.
Yeah, my friends, they have 7 acres out by Falls City, and his wife built this giant chia pet shaped like a deer. It's got branches for antlers, and it's all covered in moss. It's really cool looking.
But don't the deers come and eat it?
No, not the moss.
No.
Not the moss.
Not the moss.
They
No
eat
moss,
the
they
apples.
say.
What about Kate Moss? Now you're not so tough. All right, James. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate the call.
It must be fun if you have a whole lot of land to put something a little funky in your yard. You know, I can't believe nobody's called yet from Fremont to say they've got a troll in their front
giant
yard.
troll.
Yeah.
And I just gave it to the same city, Fremont. They got actually 2 giant dinosaurs.
Mm-hmm. There's also Hatton boots, the giant Hatton boots.
Oh, right, down in South Seattle, Georgetown area, right?
Yep. So to say you have a giant Hatton boots in your front yard, pretty cool.
Yeah, it's very nice. We've got a neighbor that has a sign out that has always irked me for years and years because I had a neighbor when I was a little boy in Philadelphia that had the same thing. But these are modern like figurines of a boy in a red school cap. Maybe you've seen them, and it says "slow child at play."
Yeah.
And they want you to slow down. Here's the problem with that, and they don't punctuate. So what it says is "slow child." At play.
Oh.
So you want to look for him. There's a slow kid around here. I should probably be nice and buy him lemonade or whatever you do. I have never seen the slow kid or any kid on this street ever.
Why did they start using some like neon green little man?
I don't know.
You know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
I do.
Because I remember the first time I saw that, I was like, wow, why do they have that weird sculpture in their front yard?
Slow child made it. I mean, slow child at play. Never mind what that kid did.
Red Dog calling from Roy. Do you have something unusual in your yard or neighborhood?
Yeah, I got kind of bored. We own 5 acres, and it looked kind of plain. So what I did is I built a ghost town in my backyard.
That's the coolest thing in the whole wide world. Have you ever sent us a picture of this ghost town?
Well, I don't know how to send the pictures, but it's on. If you Google ghost town in Roy, it will come up.
All right.
The fact that you don't know how to send me a picture of your ghost town leads you to believe are you over 50 years old, Red Dog?
Yes, I am.
Yeah,
Matter
you
of
and me
fact, I've
both.
met you several times. I'm the one who gave you that knife with the Bigfoot face.
I remember that, and I've got it. It's in my. Well, I keep it. This is kind of weird, but I do keep it next to my bed. But it's in a
Really?
drawer. Yeah, it's
you
really cool.
treasure it.
Q13 did an expose on Red Dog's ghost town, and
Yeah.
I'm looking at pictures. Oh, there you are. You've got a nice looking beard there, buddy. It's pretty crazy looking. It's exactly what we're asking. Do you have something unusual?
Yeah.
The answer is in Roy.
He has a saloon, and
Yep.
he has a brothel.
Yeah.
That's neat,
It's
man.
pretty darn cool.
Why are we going there?
Yeah, why are
What
we?
weird stuff can we do there? Can we get in a gunfight?
Yes, you can.
Cool.
You can.
Can
All
we go
right.
into the brothel? Well,
I'm working on a brothel.
all right.
All right.
We've all been working on the brothel, Red Dog.
I love it. That's
Thanks,
super
man.
cool. Thanks for the call and the info. Skip and Everett, do you have something unusual in your yard?
Billy. He says, yes, I put a 20-foot rocket in my yard when they were looking for Scud missiles in Iraq. I wanted to make sure that they could find one.
So you put a missile in your front yard.
Oh, yes, and I put G.I. Joe on top of it. So in scale, it was a 100-foot rocket.
That's
100
fantastic.
foot- That is fantastic. And then now this makes me think of Fremont being the center of the world. We've discussed. I saw the topiary of the 2 giant dinosaurs. Then, of course, there's the troll, and there's the rocket and the statue of Lenin.
Mm-hmm.
All
Yeah.
what are they doing there?
And then you go on up to Everett, and there's a 20-foot rocket.
Yep.
Why not?
Wayne in New York texted in and said there's a Star Wars TIE fighter lit up with Christmas lights in his yard.
Well,
Why
that's
not?
neat.
That's pretty cool.
I'm not sure what a TIE fighter is.
And another texter said that my neighbor cut down his tree and then carved what was left of the tree trunk into a tree. So he carved a tree out of the remaining tree trunk.
Hey, but
That's
I mean,
cool.
some people get to. I was going to mention this earlier, and I forgot the word I was looking for. Chainsaw. You ever seen chainsaw art?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, some of those guys are pretty damn
Yeah.
good.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah. And then the ice block houses.
Right.
They seem like temporary housing at best.
Cindy in Spanaway, do you have something unusual in your yard?
I do. I have a 5-foot-tall golden retriever.
Wow. If you throw me something, you'll have a 5'6" red-headed retriever. So I'll go get it for you.
So, Cindy, what is it made out of, and why do you have it?
I think it's made, I don't know, it's some type of a plastic or foam or something like that. And I've got it because my husband brought it home from an estate sale.
I'm sure there's a million reasons for this, but the thing that kind of bothers me a little bit is I've been talking about like she had a very tall dog this whole time. I thought she had an actual, because on the hind legs,
Right, yeah,
that's
sure.
a big dog. Don't try and fool me there, Cindy.
Tori, do you have something unusual in your yard or neighborhood?
Right down the street from me, there's a really well-known house in West Seattle that has these mythical creatures and naked people like carved out of tree trunks. Yeah, and there's also a fairy coming out of his chimney.
That's cool.
It's pretty cool. You guys should check it out.
It seems kind of cool, actually. Is it well done?
I guess.
Oh, it sucks. I didn't know.
It's kind of avant-garde.
I like that description.
Yeah.
I want to go see that. And Derek, do you have something unusual in your yard or neighborhood?
I have a neighbor who has a horseshoe pit, but they kind of converted it to make it a little different. They set it on fire, and they play fire flaming horseshoes.
Well, you just the big winner. Well, that's amazing.
Yeah, he lives in Hillbillyville.
I like it.
Thanks for all your calls and texts. The news is next. Police are investigating after 4 people were shot near Wooten Park over the weekend. Des Moines police say that this appears to be a shooting that started between 2 groups, leading to the exchange of gunshots. Thankfully, those who were shot did not suffer life-threatening injuries, but no suspect information has been released by authorities at this time.
My goodness.
A public memorial service to honor Kent police officer Diego Moreno is set for 1 p.m. tomorrow at the Acesso Showwear Center. He is of Auburn, married father of 2 young children who, of course, died in the line of duty on July 22nd. There'll be a procession of police vehicles that will go through Kent starting at 11:15. The public can view the procession on 4th Avenue between Willis and West James Streets. And they said those who are attending the service should plan to arrive by noon. There will be limited parking available at the Lincoln Park and Ride. The service is expected to last for a couple of hours.
Oh.
And some happy news in the news.
Love that.
In just about an hour and a half, maybe about 2 hours, the Blue Angels will be arriving.
Yeah, Blue Angels.
The Navy you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, the aerobatic team.
They are set to arrive at Boeing Field around 10:30 to prepare for the weekend's Seafair Air Show over Lake Washington. This year's show will feature not just the Blue Angels, but an A-10 jet, an A-10 Thunderbolt Warthog, a P-51 Mustang Warbird, the Mike Wiskus aerobatic stunt plane, and more.
Wow. It sounds like it's going to be great. It's great every year. And they're
it
always
is.
bringing little surprises.
It's been a tradition since 1950. Wildfires continue to devastate several areas in California. The Carr Fire has promoted mandatory evacuations for tens of thousands of people in Redding, which is 100 miles north of San Francisco. This fire has destroyed more than 650 structures. And now we are
I didn't know that many people live there, let alone had to evacuate them.
A lot.
Yeah, I mean, it's spread out, but it's a pretty big area.
Thousands of people fleeing their homes. They said there's also another fire near the town of Lakeport in Northern California. And sadly, a firefighter died battling a huge blaze near Yosemite National Park as well. Yesterday, a 6.4 magnitude earthquake struck Indonesia's Lombok and Sumbawa Islands, killing at least 14. They said this was a really long felt earthquake.
Right.
And they're concerned about the multitude of aftershocks that they're getting. And they said this is right around the Ring of Fire. So, quakes are not uncommon, but this was a pretty big one.
And where is it? On what was it? 2 islands?
Two islands of Indonesia.
Wow.
So this is centered about 140 miles east of Bali, not far from Mount Rinjani.
It sounds
volcano.
like they can have an earthquake there all day long and no one's going to get hurt and no damage. It just doesn't sound like there are any people there. Well, you get to Bali where nobody really goes. But you go to Bali and then turn left for a while. It just seems like it should be immune to all of this, but it's not.
Yeah, they said in some of these other areas, almost 200 people were killed. And hiking at Mount Rinjani has been suspended due to landslides.
Yeah, you don't want to do the hiking at Rinjani.
I was just going to go out there,
Me too, man. I got my boots on and everything.
And a lot of people talking about a very unusual judgment that was handed down late last week. A judge says a Texas man's affair with another man's wife should cost him nearly $9 million.
I couldn't agree more unless it was me. Wait, now this seems like unreasonable and unfair.
Yeah, it really
now
does.
there is the alienation of affections. That's grounds for a lawsuit right there, and a couple others where you're having sex with my wife and you were my buddy. There's a couple of lawsuits, but they don't go to the point of $9 million.
Superior Court Judge Orlando Hudson awarded Keith King $8.8 million in compensatory and punitive damages from Francisco Huizar III. King sued Huizar for, among other complaints, criminal conversation and alienation of affection.
So there's the one that I understood, alienation of affection. But criminal conversation, were they planning to kill him?
No.
Oh.
North Carolina is one of the few states left where jilted spouses can sue their affair partners. The attorney said there was an affair and an alleged assault, and part of all this had to do with his company going under. So he runs the jilted guy.
Okay.
BMX stunt shows. He lost revenue, and his wife also worked at the company, and the company therefore suffered as a result of the affair. And that's probably a big reason for the $9 million.
Probably.
And Huizar.
Is that just a fancy way of saying Weezer? It sounds like a fancy way of saying Weezer.
Huizar.
Yeah,
well,
Weezer.
who is Weezer? It's that guy, right? That's who you're talking about.
Francisco Huizar is planning to appeal.
As well, he should. When I was living in Chicago in the early 90s, that was running rampant. People were suing everybody for one guy sued successfully. His contractor was having an affair with his wife, sued him for $1 million and won.
Really?
And that was in 1992 money. Back when $1 million was a lot.
It could be why most states have started to disallow it. Not in this case, $9 million. We have talked maybe a little too much about all the serial poopers. People who go out jogging.
Well, depends on what you eat.
And go number 2.
Oh, not serial poopers.
A New Jersey
Bran or something.
School superintendent accused of repeatedly relieving himself on the high school track.
Oh, yeah, I remember that guy.
Yeah, we don't know why he was doing it.
Yeah.
But he would go out to the high school's track and go number 2.
And there was a bathroom there, and he worked there. He's got the keys.
Yeah.
Yep. He was charged with public, I don't even like that word, lewdness and littering, and has now tendered resignation.
On the racetrack or where they run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Poop in the fast lane. I just wanted to say that.
Do you regret it?
No, not even a little bit.
So he doesn't work there anymore at all? He's been relieved of his duties?
Very nice.
Really?
Thank you.
I liked it.
You had to get a tissue. You must have liked it a little bit.
A man is accused of stealing a tractor and leading Denver police on a slow-speed chase through the city, is now also being charged with biting and choking a police dog.
Oh. The first part sounded kind of fun.
Yeah. The second part sounds amazing. Those police dogs are gnarly. The fact that you could get into a chokehold and bite it. Because in my fantasies, I could do that to the Pumas and the Jaguars. That's like my plan of attack.
Right.
And now a guy may have done it.
Don't bite me, I'll bite you.
Right.
37-year-old Thomas Bush is being charged with a whole slew of things, including several counts of aggravated motor vehicle threat. He stole 2 cars, then wound up in a tractor on the slow speed chase. They eventually got a police squad car to ram the tractor and stop it. And that's when he got into the altercation with the working police dog.
I'm shocked that a ramming from a police car would stop a tractor.
Me too.
Yeah.
You know, in the movies, they're a tank.
Right.
You can't stop those crazy things.
Is there any chance this guy was under the influence of something?
I hate to say this, but I almost hope so.
Yeah?
I hope so, because then he'd have an excuse for being such a miscreant. Yeah, you guys might remember the live tiger cub that was found abandoned in a duffel bag at the U.S. border.
Yeah.
Yes.
Super cute little tiger.
God, they're adorable, those things.
So cute. Well, he has found his new forever home. This is in a sanctuary.
They just put him up for adoption on Craigslist or whatever? And
They have named him Kenobi.
Oh, as an Obi-Wan?
Yep.
Right.
And he has a playmate named Kylo Ren, who is a white tiger cub who was born there after the rescue of his parents. And so he is going to be moving to a rescue center.
And how old is it now?
It's still a cub.
The question basically is, can I successfully fight it without getting killed?
is it still a baby animal?
It's a baby, so you can play with it.
I'm going to wrestle it to the ground, bite its ears.
Then you'll be arrested on your tractor.
I deserve it. But then I'll be the guy that fought a tiger and bit it. That's good enough for me.
Oftentimes when you fly, there are some pretty noxious fumes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Whether it's
especially if you're flying with me.
and move on.
whether it's the person sitting near you or, that the smell of fuel that is in the plane, there's a lot of different types of aromas, most of them not pleasant. One flight, of course, this had to do with Florida. New York's LaGuardia to Fort Lauderdale, Florida. They had to turn the plane around because a lot of people started to complain of chest pains and burning throats. Dirty socks stench.
So do they know what it was?
No.
Wow.
Everyone says it smells just like dirty socks, like the worst dirty socks in the whole wide world. And people started to get ill, and they had to turn the plane around. They diverted the plane, landed. They have no idea what it was.
Well, was it something in the... Because I always think that those fans or whatever they are, the ventilation system, is blowing germs and goo right at me. That is what I always think.
Right.
The noxious fumes, I think Paul and I both immediately went for in the 7-year-old gag, that it's one of us, which it often is, but your throat hurting, your chest hurting, and chest pains, that is something severe.
Yeah.
Well, that's what's so disturbing, I think, is they had hazmat there. They were unable to trace the smell to any substance or chemical leak. So they have no idea what caused it.
But is the smell still there, or did it go away?
Went away.
Something weird. It was a passenger.
It was a passenger, yeah.
It was a passenger that stunk.
Remember that last time there was a passenger that stunk? He had necrotizing fasciitis,
right.
and the dude died. Maybe he was still on the plane.
All right.
Don't know. An Arkansas woman's stolen cash was turned over to police with a letter of apology from the thief who took it from her wallet. Susan McNabb said she accidentally left her wallet and $160 at a Walmart store. She returned a short time later. Wallet was still there. Cash was gone. She said she went to the police station to report it, and she was surprised the following day when the police called her and said, someone dropped an envelope at the station carrying $160 and a note to the lady that left her wallet at Walmart. Please forgive me, as I always strive to have integrity, and that day I failed miserably. I'm sorry. What What do you mean?
I mean,
Somebody
she
had
left the wallet out. Some guy in need, possibly a junkie, who knows, put his hands on it. I say run off into the sunset, dude.
Yeah.
Return her credit cards and license the part that's hard
That's
to
nice
do.
of him,
But
yeah.
respect the fact that she didn't care about that money that you could use so desperately and left it out for anybody to grab. I say you grab it.
I agree.
Head right to the casinos, man.
No, it's her fault.
It is
really.
her fault.
When you think about it, when you
It's
break it down,
entrapment.
like Danny has, it's totally her fault.
Thank you.
I think the two of you have lost the plot. Well, this woman says that the thief's change of heart has inspired her to spend money on helping others, so she decided to donate that $160.
Right, to people that could use it. Like the guy that stole it in the first place.
Donald Trump's star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Yeah.
You know, it got vandaled again.
Yes,
yeah,
we do.
pretty badly too, right?
This was a
Pickaxe
really
on
bad
this one.
Yeah.
Well, they know who did it, and the dude was bailed out by the first dude who did it. So the
Oh.
first dude who vandalized his star,
Did they know each other?
no.
Oh, that's kind of awesome.
Right. Just a thank you for continuing my work
Yep.
kind of thing.
Seriously. Well, according to the people who run the Hollywood Walk of Fame, they are not going to remove the star.
Right.
They said they know that it's going to get destroyed again. They'll just have to make it again. They said that they think it wouldn't be a good idea to remove it because it would embolden people to continue defacing stars of celebs they
It's
don't like.
why we don't negotiate with terrorists. Like, say, Paul has been kidnapped.
Yeah.
And they say to me, we're going to kill him unless you give us $8. And I say, I'd like to. I have $8 on me, but I can't possibly because that would be negotiating with terrorists. And the second I pay for Paul, then they're going to kidnap you, Sarah.
Right.
And the second we put out money, then Derek, who I think will let go, but Derek gets my $8, then Tori gets my $8, and then they come after me. I say nay.
Well, I mean, I do get it, but they say the problem is that they're sure that it's going to keep getting destroyed. And I'm not exactly sure who has to pay for it.
Oh, I would think the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce. would
Right.
make it. Oh, well, maybe not. I don't know.
Well, so that's what I'm saying, though. If it's the Chamber of Commerce, if you're them, aren't you kind of mad?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And now the thing is to get the star, it's now, I think, up to $40,000.
Yeah, the
to get
recipient has to pay that.
To pay that. So if I've paid one set of money for it, I guess I'm obligated. I've implied my consent
Yeah, I think
that
you
I'll
might.
pay for. Yeah.
Wait, so you think he might get the bill?
Yeah.
That Trump will get the bill?
Yes.
All right. I'm okay with that.
He's
Well,
got
no.
the money.
Yeah. I know. It'll make his star great again. It's important.
We still have so much show left to come. There is music news. There is entertainment. There is sports. So
Sports.
stay with us. Starting with music news, a Bob Seger themed bar has opened up in the town of Unionville, Michigan, and its owner has said the singer will pay a visit. It's called Catmandu.
Catman, don't.
Oh. So it's called Cat, like is in the pet man do, but it's based on the track Catmandu, the place that starts with a K.
Yeah.
So pretty funny. It was created
I
by...
don't know that funny is the word you're looking for, but I get it.
He said the owner said that he was inspired by the time that he met Bob Seger back in 1967 in Unionville. He said we were in this restaurant, we were playing pool and eating, and he just came over and shot pool with us, and he was a great guy. So he is now retired from teaching and said, I'm opening up Catmandu.
Oh, that's very cool. There's a song that he writes about a bar on Main Street. And I've always, that's down on Main Street, that one. I have always thought that if you knew what town that was in, you could deduce what bar that is. Because you could hear that guy played there when he was a young man, and he used to hang out there when he was a young man. And I'm a big Bob Seger fan, so I just thought that'd be great.
Well, he will be stopping in to Catmandu. The teacher says he's already heard from Bob Seger, who says he will stop in when his tour takes him through that part of our country.
Ann Arbor, Michigan is where that song was written about.
I thought now you could pick what bar that is.
Yeah, you'd think so.
Believe it or not, that's a beautiful little town.
Really?
Ann Arbor?
Michigan, yeah.
Yeah, it's great. I didn't live close to there, but we took tours there. That and Mackinac Island, also gorgeous.
Yeah.
Former Sex Pistols frontman Johnny Rotten has a new gig. He'll be voicing a power-hungry mutant pig in the cartoon series Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Okay.
He'll be playing Meat Sweats in the Nickelodeon series that will start in September. And he'll be joined by Lena Headey from Game of Thrones, who plays a huge spider mutant named Big Mama. She is Cersei on Game of Thrones.
If I liked the guy, John Lydon is his name. If I liked him better, I'd be happy that he got this job because he's been broke for a very long time and dining out over I'm Johnny Rotten when the rest of the band is either gone or Steve Jones is doing okay in LA radio. But he's broke, but he's a kind of a tough guy to be around. Every interaction I have had with Johnny Rotten has been bad and just full of trouble and shenanigans.
Singer Neil Diamond did something unexpected over the weekend. He gave a free performance for firefighters who battled a blaze near his Colorado home. He invited dozens of firefighters.
Aren't they busy fighting fires? He's kind of distracting them by playing music.
That makes perfect sense. I got to assume the fires by his house are out.
Correct.
Ah, okay.
This was a fire that happened earlier this month. They believe it was accidentally done by people who were using fire incendiary tracer rounds at a shooting range, and then it caught fire. And they said...
Those are not cheap, by the way. They're bullets you can see with the naked eye, and they don't go slow. They're still just as fast. They leave this flash behind them so you can see where your bullets are going.
It also left a lot of flames
Heat,
behind. So he got together all these firefighters and said, I wanted to say thank you. And he played Sweet Caroline, and everybody sang along, and it was kind of awesome.
Did he have like a whole setup or just him and a guitar?
It was him and a guitar.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
I'd put out a fire to see him do that.
I mean, you'd start the fire
I'd
to put out the fire.
To put it out so I could see Neil Diamond with his guitar.
There is a strange phenomenon happening that involves Drake. There's a song called In My Feelings, and it has started a challenge.
The cake.
The National Transportation Safety Board is now issuing an official statement saying stop with the Kiki Challenge.
So for those of us that know nothing, what's a Kiki Challenge?
Get out of your car while playing this song and dance next to your car like an idiot while your car continues to drive, and you dance. You set up a camera inside pointing out the driver's door.
Who's driving?
No one. You just somehow get your car's coasting forward, and then you get out and start dancing like an idiot.
Well, they should arrest somebody.
Tori,
Jake.
you're familiar with this too, right?
Yeah, it's someone driving. I think you put it in neutral, and they just roll down and they start dancing erratically. It's actually really funny if you go online and watch the videos.
Right until they roll over the baby carriage.
Right, exactly.
Well, a lot of celebrities have done it, like Will Smith, Sierra, DJ Khaled, Charlemagne the God, and now the National Transportation Safety Board says stop it.
Stop it.
Paul, you're familiar with this. Does that mean you've partaken?
I have not done it, but because I'm going to be the idiot who runs himself over.
Yeah,
there's always
that's
one guy who at first runs himself over, and that would probably be me.
All right, well, don't do it.
I won't.
Yeah.
Norman Lear continues to defy all odds. Career longevity and age. Just celebrated his 96th birthday.
96? Wow.
And he has a new deal. A 2-year deal with Sony Pictures Television.
They were going to make it 5 years, but they thought,
Yeah.
His extensive library includes All in the Family, The Jeffersons, Good Times, Maude, Mary Hartman, and more. And this is a deal to remake some of those shows.
Yeah, that's red hot right now. The stars of All in the Family are quite dead for the most part. I don't even know for the most part, but Archie Archie Bunker being dead takes the shine off of that rose, I think.
Well, he said he will not remake All in the Family. One, it is sort of an iconic, very famous show, but two, times have changed.
Yeah, what made that show, what made that character is open racism.
Yeah.
You can't have a guy on a show that's supposed to be funny, maybe on a show that with horrible overtones, but your lead character getting yucks because he's a racist? Yeah, I don't think they can do that today.
Yeah, he said he will not do All in the Family and he will not do Maude. But presently,
Nobody would do Maude, jeez.
Presently, they're doing One Day at a Time. It just finished filming its third season, and he is the executive producer.
One Day at a Time is on? Mm-hmm. Wow. Are any of the original cast in it?
No, it's totally reimagined. I think they are Hispanic. They're family from Puerto Rico. And I think even the Schneider character might be a woman. I'm not positive.
Well, of course, that'd make perfect sense.
But that's a successful show.
Yeah.
Presently on Netflix. The track record for Dune adaptations has been dubious at best, but they said they are willing to take another crack at it, and it will be director Denis Villeneuve, who did Blade Runner 2049.
Which sucked.
I liked it.
I know you did.
Well, they said they believe what the key is to split it into two pictures, that the book was too big. You can't cover all that shenanigans in one, so they're going to split it into two.
So let me see if I've got the logic correct. We've made 4 Dune movies. Every single one of them sucked and cost us money because they lost revenue.
Yeah.
So let's make a new one. No. 2 new Dune movies.
That's the problem with the previous 4 is that they weren't 8.
They weren't 8, exactly.
Netflix announced yesterday it has scheduled a premiere for its new series Maniac for September 21st. This is a show that features Emma Stone and Jonah Hill. It also has...
a series? Not a movie? A series?
It is a series.
Wow. There's a lot of big movie stars doing that.
Yep. Justin Theroux, Sally Field also taking part.
Yeah, wow.
Set in a world somewhat like our own world, in a time quite similar to our time. Maniac tells the stories of 2 people drawn together in the late stages of a pharmaceutical trial for their own reasons.
Yeah, okay. So that means nothing to me. I'm just, the days of movie stars don't do television are kind of over anyway.
Yeah.
And now with Netflix paying $60 million for you to do something that everybody's going, yeah, okay, forget this movie star thing.
I mean, even Julia Roberts has a new TV show on Hulu, or no, I think she's on Amazon. And she was saying there is no distinction anymore between TV and movies.
She's right.
Pretty wild. YouTube said on Friday, Will Smith The Jump will show Will Smith bungee jumping from a helicopter over the Grand Canyon.
Why?
Live broadcast for his 50th birthday. This is a live broadcast that will take place on September 25th. And this is apparently some sort of challenge that some famous folk are doing to each other. And he will bungee jump out of a helicopter.
That whole show with Bear Grylls seems like a dare celebrities are doing to each other. But, I don't know. Is this a difficult thing to do?
I wouldn't bungee jump out of a helicopter over the Grand Canyon.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah,
would you?
Paul wouldn't.
I've never been bungee jumping. I don't think I would bungee jump.
It's stupid. I don't get it. I forget what reason I have done it. I've done it more than once. But yeah, should be a big to do about me bungee jumping out of a thing. I'd totally do
Paul,
it.
would you do it?
I wouldn't do it over the Grand Canyon. I'd want to do it somewhere interesting.
So, but that is you would do it.
I mean, are they paying me a bunch of money? Because I don't want to bungee jump. I mean, if they're going to pay me a bunch of money, then I'm going to bungee
it's a
jump.
TV special. I don't think he's doing it for free.
I'll do it for money.
Yeah, me too.
All right, here's $1.
That's not a bunch of money.
That is not a bunch of money.
Sorry,
How much
here's
is a bunch of money?
$3.
I don't. Am I Will Smith or am I me?
You're you.
Oh, give me $100,000 and I'll bungee jump out of a helicopter.
What does that sound?
$5,000, all right. But you've bungee jumped before, and it's something that you.
And it is
You
scary.
jumped out of an airplane, Paul.
I know. For me, that seems safer than bungee jumping.
I think you might be right.
Yeah.
I would agree, actually.
So here's your money.
And you're jumping out of a helicopter, by the way. So it's like, you're bungee jumping out of an aircraft still.
I don't trust helicopters.
Yeah.
What the hell is wrong with you? It's like Da Vinci's best creation.
But
wait, I'm not bungee jumping out of Da Vinci's helicopter.
yes, you
That
are.
seems really dangerous. I'm gonna have to up my price again.
MTV announced this morning Lindsay Lohan has been given a reality show. It's coming out in about 6 or 7 months, called Lohan's Beach Club. It's something they announced on Good Morning America moments ago. And according to the network, it's a docuseries that will follow Lindsay Lohan as she works to expand her business empire And this all takes place in Greece, and mayhem ensues.
Now, wait a second. This young lady has a nightclub in Greece, doesn't she?
She does.
Yeah, I think so.
She does. She has her own nightclub. So maybe this is real.
I don't think it's hers. I think she is the face, and she has investors. So,
Yeah, but I have literally seen the paperwork on these to prove she owned a bar. Now, maybe she could have forged it, but it's something they showed on Access Hollywood or whatever it was. So she essentially owns a bar in Greece or is a partner in Greece. But I would just think let's just watch Lindsay Lohan get drunk and be sad.
Yeah.
This seems like it might be a real thing. I'll watch this.
She's allegedly sober.
Yeah, allegedly. Ask Demi Lovato about that.
In this show, Lindsay Lohan will lead a team of hand-picked brand ambassadors who must prove their expertise, ambition, and charm over the course of a season.
Mm-hmm.
Can I speak for all of us when I say...
Yeah, I'll quote you.
At the box office over the weekend, Tom Cruise and his death-defying stunts continue to pay off at the box office. Mission Impossible Fallout easily took the #1 spot, and they said it was the second best Tom Cruise opening ever, just shy of War of the Worlds.
Oh, which was crap.
Oh, I liked that movie.
See, Tom Cruise would jump right out of a helicopter on a bungee cord. No,
Yeah,
just say, this is good for you.
Yeah.
It'd be good for the movie. Oh, sure. How do I do it?
He may have done that in the movie for
He
all
may
you know.
have.
You won't find out till this afternoon when you go. So, second place went to Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again. Big fall for them week over week, but still enough for second place. Denzel Washington's The Equalizer 2 took third place. And Hotel Transylvania at number 4. Teen Titans Go to the movies came in third, only brought in $10.5 million. But the good news, it only cost $10 million to make.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not the most intricate drawing, those particular characters.
Mission Impossible, by the way, brought in just shy of $62 million.
Now, I have heard that they are cracking $3 billion with his franchise alone, with Tom Cruise.
With the Mission Impossible?
With the Mission Impossible, that they've cracked or are about to crack $3 billion.
That's pretty amazing.
That is way amazing.
Yeah, so $2.8 billion is what they're at for that franchise right now. That's a lot of loot. Let's take a look at sports. Sports brought to you by Bradley Johnson Attorneys. If you're facing a DUI, call 1-800-DUI-OA. That's 1-800-DUI-OA. Big weekend for the Mariners. Well, Friday and Saturday they lost, but yesterday the Bats came out 8-5 win over the Angels. Today they resume action at home. Houston Astros coming to town, so crucial series, must wins for the Mariners. First pitch, 7:10. James Paxton against Garrett Cole. The Mariners picked up a new reliever, Sam Tuivalalala for a minor league right-handed pitcher.
I don't want to get traded for a minor league. I want to get traded for equipment. We'll give you that and the team bus for Bonaduce. Yeah.
The worst is when they say that he's been traded for a player to be named later.
Yeah.
Like, we'll just figure it out later. Like, just you can have that guy and just give us something someday. We don't care.
But I'm confident that guy's got a name. We don't have to name him later. We know who he is.
And the Seahawks agreed to a contract extension with one of their top players.
Earl Thomas.
Nope.
No.
3-year contract extension with Dwayne Brown.
Oh, yeah.
So he will be with the team through 2021.
Good. I like him a lot.
He likes you too.
Oh, good. Nice
He does. He said, say hello.
Did you say sup?
Yeah.
That's the way we talk to each other.
Tomorrow, the Storm play the Phoenix Mercury, 7 o'clock. And yesterday, the Sounders match, they beat NYCFC 3-1. The Tour de France was won by England's Geraint Thomas, edging out second place Tom Dumoulin.
These are fake people.
Who beat Frim and Arnaud Demare.
They did a big story on the guy that came in last.
Aww.
He crashed. He got a bunch of stitches, and the man who wouldn't quit. And I'm going, quit. You're bleeding all over the track. You look stupid.
His
but
kid
he
is
came in to know. I think he was an American. I think he might have been from California. But it took him hours and hours and hours to get to the finish line while bleeding all over everything. But then everybody did reports. And he's like more famous than if he would have won. Because I don't know what is.
And
well, all those people are England skate riders.
But they sounded French. You said
but you even did the
They all have names.
You
but
said one of them's name was Phlegm.
Well, he's Flemish.
From.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, well then.
This was a team,
no
Team
worries.
Sky. That's how it's not really individuals who win, but it's Team Sky who have won 6 of the last 7 Tour de France titles.
See, that's because what's his name with the one ball quit?
That's, yeah.
Lance Armstrong?
Yeah.
The other cheater didn't win either. I forgot that. The most recent cheater, he still has both his Who's Its friends, but no, he has been caught cheating like 4 times.
It's not a penalty. You cheated and they take one of your balls away. That's not the way it goes. Lance Armstrong walked into a very nice restaurant 2 or 3 nights ago. Everybody booed him and jeered him and everything.
Really?
So he paid everybody's check and left.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, kind of liked it.
These guys need to get better names. Lance Armstrong. That's a great name. I mean, it doesn't really. It's
Steve
not pertinent.
Brickhouse.
It's not really pertinent to bicycle racing. It would be better if it was like Lance Legstrong. But still, it's pretty good. Lance Armstrong.
Yeah. Oh,
solid.
no. I didn't get the Armstrong part.
It's
That's
a
funny.
solid name.
Danny's favorite quarterback turned baseball players.
Tebow!
Thanks to Tim Tebow, an 11-year-old boy in the Philippines is recovering from a life-changing corrective surgery.
Uh-oh.
This is the Tim Tebow Foundation and Cure International. This little kid, his name is Aldrin, was born with a severe leg deformity. And the best way of describing it, they say, is he looked like a bird. His
Knees bent backwards.
Went
Got it.
backwards. This poor kid could not walk at all.
Isn't Tebow's answer to all this stuff pray?
No.
Yeah. Wouldn't you think so?
No, he started this foundation to help people in the Philippines with stuff like surgery. And yes, it's all about Jesus. But
Yeah, no, I'm a big fan of prayer, but like if I have a toothache, I pray all the way to the dentist. That's why they're there.
Yeah, he's not a, what do they call that? The
Pain in the ass?
Christian scientists or
Fundamentalist?
is that what it is when the
There's
the
1,000 religions where they don't believe in medicine.
the one
organized
main
medicine.
one that gets the press all the time because they don't believe in medicine. He is not one of those.
Okay.
No, he started this specifically to help cure people and cure children. And he said every day lives are being changed at the Tebow Cure Hospital, and I am very thankful for that.
Ah, that's lovely. You know what'll cure children?
What's that?
A few years, and then they're adults. And then we don't have to worry. Nobody has to feel so bad for them anymore.
Sports, brought to you by Bradley Johnson Attorneys at 1-800-DUIOA. Want to remind you guys about Danny Bonaduce's birthday bash.
Yeah.
The Bonaduce birthday bash
The
broadcast
Bonaduce
bonanza? Is
Yeah.
that the one you're talking about?
You tell him.
No, you tell him.
This is the
I
way
can't
they
even
should
say
go.
it. Friday, August 10th at Chandler's Crab House down on South Lake Union. It's going to be awesome. We got a free party. Everybody's invited. It's free to attend. Free breakfast as well.
And all you got to do right now is release RSVP because we need to know you're there so we can count your breakfast and whatever the hell else you might want.
Yeah.
Because like we said, it is all free of charge. Where do they RSVP?
KZOK.com/Danny's birthday.
Dig that.
Fantastic. Tomorrow on the show, 7:50, I will hand deliver a filthy forecast. 7:20, playing Sticks or Stones for your chance to win a pair of tickets to see Styx August 23rd at Tulalip.
Very nice. You know, we were talking about the Seahawks extending a contract for $4 million.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know who just got a contract extension of $11 million?
Who's that?
Steve Slayton.
Well, he's worth every penny.
And worth every penny. I mean, they asked me, Bonaduce, can you cough up like $7 for Slayton? And I said, no. And they said, we're going to lose him. So I said, okay. And I kicked in my money. Anyway, that guy that's worth every penny is going to saunter in this door. And he's second now. And he's going to play you a bunch of classic rock because that's what he does. We'll get out of his way and bye.